up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Oh, man, we got a good show for you tonight. We got a whole bunch of industry news. We got top comedians for our top 5 segment. We got a special guest, the one and only Mr. James Chin. That's going to be really awesome. He's from Yale, so it's going to be really fun to talk to him.
He's a Yaley.
He's a Yaley. And plus, we got box office predictions, word of the day, Billboard chart toppers, and just so much more.
And if they stay long enough, they'll learn how to say Crazy Ant Films in Mandarin.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's what you
Dropping
got.
knowledge.
Expect. All right.
Why are you yelling into the mic? Everywhere else, he'd step away from it.
I love to yell.
He likes to be loud.
I do.
He is the mouth.
I am the mouth.
He's a screamer.
I'm a screamer.
Okay.
Oh.
And next on the
I
first,
just assumed that.
the first thing on the industry list is Netflix buying its first ever production studio in Albuquerque. Oh man, this might be a little trouble for our buddies out in Santa Fe.
This isn't, like you said, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Netflix's current productions that were being shot in New Mexico were at Santa Fe Studios.
Is this their first ever studio?
It is. Their
Oh, snap.
first ever studio.
That's what it says
And
right here in the headline. It
But
says
there's a
first
lot of stuff
production
shot
studio.
there.
But
It's just
here's
they
the
never had a
argument, though. Remember, everybody's always on Netflix about, but they're not a studio. They're not a studio. They're making movies. They're not. Well, now they are.
Now they are,
Now they're a
bitches.
studio. Now they have a studio.
Netflix Studios?
So I wouldn't be surprised if they changed the name.
Yeah.
They just and look. I mean, the story was pretty interesting because they had just said that they had tripled their investment in LA itself with a brand new tower, and they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars in LA, and now they say they're going to pump in over $1 billion into New Mexico.
Yeah.
Over the next 10 years. These guys, like it or not, Disney, Warner, they're here to play.
Yeah,
I mean, they are a
exactly.
big boy.
They're coming for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I put my big boy pants on.
I mean, let's be honest about it. We saw today, was it Warner Brothers that's coming out with their own streaming service?
Warner Brothers,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're all trying to compete
They're all going to
with
come out with their
Netflix.
own streaming service.
Yeah, and so while the thing was that Netflix was so ahead on that, but they lacked in the studio. Now they've got it, and now the other ones were so behind in the streaming, and now they're all coming with the streaming. So
who's going to catch up?
Warner Brothers is coming out with its own streaming service. Why are they going to have a DC streaming service? They might as well just have all their stuff on the Warner streaming service. They're owned by the same company.
They are.
a good
It's
point.
true, but I mean, it's Warner Media, so I'm
Yeah.
guessing they're going to try to keep that separate.
Yeah.
It's just irritating to me. It's like trying to afford enough to watch some great
Yeah, well,
programming.
that's
right,
You
because
have to
there's
put
so
a
many.
lot of money
It's been
down.
going in that direction for about a decade now.
Yeah, but to
agreed.
like pay for, let's say you don't have home internet, you have a cell phone,
Right.
And you all watch this great content. Well, you're paying for unlimited internet for that phone, which is already a load of money. Like the cheapest being like Family Mobile or Straight Talk, and that's like $50
Right.
a month on whatever tax. And now you have to pay $30 to $40 or $50 to afford all the streaming
all
shows.
the streaming
Right.
services.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy right now, honestly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people are just going to completely ditch off cable and have their select few of which streaming services they like the most.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And it's not just your normal outlets that you think about that are doing it. I
No.
mean, just to kind of look ahead a little bit, Jessica Biel, they just announced, she's coming to a 10-episode series on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Wow.
Facebook's getting into the game of original series. They've also got a new one coming out with Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
On Facebook and Chris Evans. Remember they
Yeah, that's
announced
right.
recently Chris Evans. So I mean, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody
Man, I
is
haven't even
coming.
opened my Facebook video side. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, get that notification away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's
we
why I
all
gotta
know
go over there.
Apple's got 9 or 10 in development.
Yeah.
So it's like just everybody is coming at it.
Yeah.
and that's where
That Jessica Biel one, that used to be a podcast, right? A scripted
Yeah, it-
podcast.
exactly.
That's really interesting.
That
We're
seems
like,
to be the new trend now. I
Yeah.
guess.
scripted podcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
Going back to the days of radio,
Yeah,
radio,
just making it
serials.
modernized.
Just to let everybody at home
Podcast.
know, we have no scripts in front of us.
Yeah,
we do
this
not.
is not a scripted podcast, bitches.
We have
Definitely
suggestions.
not.
We go with these weird suggestions.
And now it's time for the news.
And now, but yeah,
this
so
definitely not. But yeah, based on a podcast, and I mean, I think it's the future. I mean, like you said, I think, inevitably everybody's going to lose cable and everything is going to be streamed.
Yeah, I agree.
Theaters are already digitally beamed. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're not even, you're not putting it on a platter anymore. It's not coming on a reel. It's all freaking digital.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it
I
costs
mean,
too much. The cost of shipping and having the film and all that, and the film breaks too easily, so you
Yeah.
always have to call out replacements and pay
Yeah.
for a brand new reel.
and I would not be surprised if soon, much to the chagrin of many of them, that you're going to see the middleman, the distribution disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, why would the studios pay for the distribution company, which is a shit chunk of their profit,
Exactly.
when they can just beam it themselves to
Exactly.
wherever they want to exhibit it?
Have
I mean,
a nice little
so
deal with Netflix or Disney with Hulu. or-
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, and they're making so much money. You can't tell me that they can't, get the technology to beam it wherever they need to beam it, or
Exactly.
get it into the theaters however they need to do it.
Agree with
So I
that
think
completely.
distribution companies are the next little part of entertainment that's going to phase out.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly.
that or they sitting between the Netflix and the studio side still, and they're
Yeah.
still usually putting money down in the production though.
Yeah.
right.
how they get
That's what I'm
distribution
saying, though.
rights.
I think it's all going to go in house. I think you're
Okay.
going to see all of their stuff produced and made in house and then distributed by them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I
Cut
just
out the middleman.
cut out the middleman.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we talked a little bit about theaters and what hit the theaters this weekend. Venom and A Star Is Born. Venom did really well with around 80 million. Whew, shit. But the better movie, I'm going to be honest, the better movie, A Star Is Born, only got around 42 million. That's pretty awesome. That would normally top the box office, but we know everybody's on this superhero kick, so, they all
Exactly.
went to Venom.
Well, it's an
Exactly.
action movie.
Yeah.
Always an action movie beats
Yeah.
out the biopic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried. I mean, I'm not gonna go into my review as I had my chance at that, but I mean, I was thinking that it wasn't gonna make a lot of money and that
Yeah.
there wouldn't be an option for a sequel
Yeah.
based on what I saw.
Yeah.
But I was wrong, and I apparently
Yeah, made
might
a
ha-
shit ton of money and
it
set
might
up
have a
for
sequel as well. Anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it set it up.
I think
Yeah.
a sequel would be better anyway.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
we said though.
but it
in-
needed to be a rated R sequel,
Right.
Because
Does-
if they
right.
bring
Definitely needs
old
to
boy
be.
along, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and like we said in "Is It Worth It," which
That's
you
what
can
I.
check
That's what I
out.
was saying initially. Is like if they this was going to be PG-13, that character can't be.
yeah, agreed.
But like we said, don't stay. There are 2 post-credit scenes. Don't stay for the second one.
Yeah. I was going to tell y'all about
Wasn't
that.
wasn't
Yeah.
worth it. Wasn't
Did
worth
not,
it. But the
no.
first one definitely sets
No.
up the
Look,
sequel.
I was waiting. I had to use the bathroom really bad, and I was waiting the whole. And there's the longest credits I've ever seen. I'm like,
They were really spacing that shit out.
and I'm
too.
like,
I agree with
I
that.
finally seen. I was like, I almost pissed my pants for this.
For that, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a whole 3-minute clip of that.
For us
So
being a
just like-
film company, we really should tell people to sit and watch it, though.
Oh, no,
I-
Because
I'm not-
all those credits of all the
Just
hard
make sure you go to the bathroom
just getting
before
their
the-
name online.
Before the
I'm just saying
Awesome
it's not. It has
It's not
nothing to do
No,
with
it has absolutely
anything
nothing to do with any of that.
other than So
I was stayed long enough to see if there was going to be some sort of crossover.
Yeah.
yeah.
Then I'm
But
going to
just-
realize this is not going anywhere. I have to go to the bathroom.
But like J-Lo said, though, like the better movie by a landslide. And I'm a Marvel fan from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So while this isn't an MCU film, Venom is associated with Marvel, and I enjoyed it. But by far the better film was A Star Is Born.
Agreed.
And like you said, 42 million. That's normally a huge box office weekend.
Yeah.
That's normally a number 1 take.
Exactly.
Venom wasn't going to be for
and-
Oscar fare like
Right.
A Star Is
Wars,
Born from
anyway.
start to finish is Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
And multiple
Yeah.
Oscars.
Well, I mean, just give it some time. Maybe this week it will show. The
That's what I'm
difference.
hoping for. I'm hoping
That's
that
what,
it's
like we
gonna
were saying that
bounce
last
up.
week in the podcast. It's like Venom's going to do really well this week
podcast.
and then drop down.
Yes.
Yeah, I agreed, and I think, I think that A Star Is Born will have longer legs.
I agree with that.
I do think it's going
thought
to be.
that Venom was going to drop off after about a week anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, we can't rave enough about A Star Is Born.
Yeah, honestly.
Just everything about it was fantastic.
They've been all over Facebook, all over Twitter.
You can
Trust me,
catch
my
our
feed
review
is
on
gonna
that
be
on Is It Worth It
Yeah.
YouTube channel and our website, crazyantfilms.com, where we talk about that one, Venom, Simple Favor, and City of Light.
I
Go
think,
check it out.
and if I'm not mistaken, isn't this like our first episode where like everything was worth it?
No, I think everything else was worth it before. Something.
Something?
Something.
Maybe one, but we
One
haven't
epi-
had
some
a lot.
episodes.
We haven't had
But
a
yeah,
lot of
I
episodes
agree.
Oh, the
where everything
Gaffer
was
has
worth it.
like old man opinions on
Yeah.
things. And just like, I don't like this new hip stuff. Kids.
freaking
Sounds like me.
hippies.
hippie stuff. This hippie stuff.
But yes, A Star Is Born. Definitely go see that one. We'll talk more about it in the box office. But yes, that's definitely a good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Some controversy coming out this week. South Park airs some a child abuse episode with the Catholic League of Presidents. Or President Reacts, something. But yeah, crazy ass episode. Basically making fun of the Catholic religion. What's happening right now? All the Catholics, priests like raping children and shit like that. So it was a crazy episode.
Yeah,
Anyone help me out on this?
No. I was
You're letting me sink.
I was letting you go.
Yeah,
You're doing pretty good.
They
Thanks,
did
guys.
not hold
Thanks.
back on the episode. They basically had this missing town priest, and he was on the run because he had known about all the bad stuff and didn't do anything to stop it, kind of a thing. And in typical South Park fashion, they
Yeah.
just let it go. I can
Yeah.
see why the Catholics are a little upset.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see what they did to Isaac Hayes after you left the show?
Yeah, I'm just
Hello, children.
I'm gonna make sweet love to you. You know.
The thing is though is can you be upset because I mean it's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not all Catholic priests, not every, but guys, you can't come at South Park because I mean you do have problems. You do have things going on. So check with your own pope. He even acknowledged it and knows there's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And while
So-
we acknowledge that we don't want any assassins hired by the Vatican to come
Right.
after us.
I mean, I'm just saying it is a
You'll be
problem.
the one who was the first target. I'm an ex-Catholic.
Yeah.
I love
it-
I
Jesus.
walked away from the
That's
church.
right.
And I got tired of what's
That's right.
Well, no, I walked away from Catholicism. I didn't walk away from Christianity.
Yeah.
And there's been many problems for years. This
Yeah.
stuff is not something new.
Yeah.
It's been having a huge issue. And then they even got indicted by the Supreme Court
Oh my goodness.
for hiding priests and hiding the problem. And then it comes back again, they're hiding the problem again.
Yeah. Well, I watched
That was a
The
prison
Keepers on Netflix. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, but
I
yeah.
saw the
No,
trailer
it-
for it.
it's-
It looks
was going to
interesting.
watch
Like I think it was Baltimore. Was it Baltimore? I think it was either Baltimore.
I think it was
Yeah. The diocese up there was covering up a lot of shit about like a nun's murder and like molestation in like the school. So this is happening a lot. Like it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? Let's just. I mean, the Catholic Church is much like a giant corporation.
Yeah, it's
if
exactly
when you
what it
really,
is,
I mean,
honestly.
the Me Too movement and all this kind abuse is rampant amongst all kinds of industry and corporation, and
Yeah.
the Catholic Church is no different.
Among
I mean,
the richest countries in the world is Vatican City.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean it's going to happen, and I think that the problem is, I mean, I don't think anybody is saying that, the problem is the cover up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that it's happening. It happens in every industry. It happens on all levels. It's the cover up. It's
Yeah.
we're going to pay people off. We're going to keep this quiet.
Exactly.
That's the problem. It's the same thing. It's the same problem in any other industry when studio execs cover it up or
Exactly.
do what. Let's call it what it is. I mean, that the cover up is the problem. The Catholic Church needs to get over that and say,
Exactly.
we got to put this out there and take care of this shit and stop trying to hide it. Because
They just don't want to look
I
bad.
said, well,
Yeah.
in history, how many times have we got the guy for lying about something, not doing something, like Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
It wasn't that he did something in the Oval Office; it's that he covered up the Lewinsky scandal.
Yeah.
That he tried to hide and say, "No, I didn't have sex with that woman."
Right.
What is this oral? Is oral really sex? And
Yeah.
trying to
Right.
twist
Trying
a
to
lie.
figure it out. We have proof. We have the dress. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking, let's keep along those lines. Our favorite Me Too offender,
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Bill
Yeah.
Cosby,
Yeah.
apparently not love in prison.
Yeah.
No,
Shocker!
really.
Oh yeah.
No
So his lawyers are basically begging for any way possible to get him out of jail, filing all kinds of motions left
Not
and
enough
right
pudding.
about it was an unfair trial, it was a discriminatory
pudding's
trial.
expired.
Yeah, the term limit on the crime
But the
had
jury
expired.
pool was biased on everything.
Yeah, and that it was racist trial and everything they can possibly think of to file a motion on. They
Yeah.
are filing a motion on to get this man out of jail. Guess what? It's not happening.
Not happening.
He is not getting out of jail. He's going to serve his 3 years at least, and he deserves to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
just stop whining. You know, I mean, Jesus
that
Christ,
shit.
Bill, you admitted drugging the women.
Exactly.
You admitted it. Okay,
Exactly.
move on, bro.
And look, my stepdad brought up a good point last week. Let's put any other black man in his shoes. I bet he's getting way more than 3 to 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There are guys in prison right now. You're right, and this is
done less.
Oh, we're gonna get a little political again, but this has been a problem since the 70s and 80s, and it's still a problem today. There are black men incarcerated that don't need to be incarcerated. I mean, you've got
Agreed.
guys serving 15-year prison sentences for getting caught with a dime bag of marijuana.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Bill Cosby's complaining about 3 for raping
Exactly.
tens of hundreds of women over the
Exactly.
last 40 or 50 years. Like, give me a break, dude. And
Yeah.
he's separated to keep himself not
Exactly.
in a. You think these other people are separated from
No.
Gen Pop and
No.
like no, they're
Oh, I mean,
probably
that-
risking their life every day.
Well, that pretty much comes from the prison, like personally paid, privately owned prisons. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a prison problem in this country. There are people serving
People are
time
profiting
that
off it.
shouldn't.
Is
That's
he
the
at
problem
one
is-
of the country course prisons? One of the more richer.
He's actually not
No,
at
he's
one
in
of
a
those.
regular- okay.
Yeah,
he's
he's
in a maximum.
irregular. He's
because he was a sex offender, but
Ah.
he is being separated from Gen Pop.
Well,
Yeah.
every sex offender automatically gets protective
and
custody.
yeah,
inside.
and he's in it even a little bit higher elevated
Yeah.
protect because of his age and health reasons and stuff. But I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's an excellent point. Your dad brought up an excellent point. There are problems, and there are people
Yeah.
in jail that shouldn't be in
Agreed.
jail, and this guy deserves to be
Yeah.
in jail. So let's
Honestly.
focus where the problem really is and not worry about Bill.
Exactly.
Okay, Bill. Sorry, bro.
Fucking Bill.
Hit Bill.
Ah.
Yeah,
And
America's rapist.
Yeah.
yeah.
More shitheads to talk about. R. Kelly.
Oh, boy.
is
Speaking of America's rapist,
yeah.
Jeez. I knew that was gonna come up. I knew that exact
Yeah,
line.
well, we haven't really brought it up before, but there's been some accusations of him like holding women like hostage and shit. Well, his ex-wife just came forward. His ex-wife of like 13 years says she was abused multiple times. She gives 2 examples in the article. One being that he choked her one time in the back of a Hummer when they were leaving a performance or a show or whatever, and another time where he literally hog-tied her in the bed while he sleeps next to her.
Nothing about peeing, huh?
Nothing about being. Nothing
Well,
about
yeah, I
urination.
mean, and for anybody who didn't get that reference, I mean, way back in the day, I know we got some younger listeners, but
Yeah.
anyway, he was accused back in the day of having sex with and peeing on a minor,
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
a 13-year-old, I
And he
believe
also
it was.
allegedly married Aaliyah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jesus.
this guy just, screams winner from top to bottom, doesn't he?
Like,
Like,
goodness gracious.
I mean,
I
Yeah.
think there needs to be an investigation because there's been multiple parents that have come forward and said, I haven't seen my daughter in I don't know how long. And when I do see her, it's very like she's out of it.
Yeah,
She's very
yeah.
not herself. So
exactly.
there- I
And
believe
by
there
the
needs-
way,
yeah.
just from a legal standpoint, because R. Kelly's defense is always, well, they chose to stay. They
Yeah.
want to stay. They made. But hey, R. Kelly, if you're a minor, you don't have the right to. They can say they want to stay all day long.
Right.
They're not able to legally make that decision. You're
Exactly.
holding them against their will.
Exactly.
Whether they want to be there or not, you're holding them against their will.
I think one of his excuses is that he tries to groom them basically
Yeah,
into becoming
to
performers.
become
Yeah.
performers.
Like
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's just
Ike Turner.
bullshit.
Huh,
Really?
that
I had
sounds like
no-
some guy back in the '60s that groomed a whole family and made
Oh,
them commit
goodness.
murder.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I know I just restarted Aquarius, but yeah, that's Charles Manson.
Yeah,
right.
That's 100%
exactly.
what Charles Manson did
Well,
was
I mean,
groomed.
they got plenty of it. Like Ike Turner did that.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
no idea to be a successful musician, you had to know how to like cook meals for people and have sex with them
Right,
whenever they
like, what
wanted.
the fuck?
Who knew that was part of it? Wow.
Rick James liked to have people over his house too.
Goodness gracious. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. Investigate
For long periods of
Investigate.
time, apparently.
Yeah, crazy shit. And other
Just wait, just to touch on that. I can imagine like someone like, she wanted to be here. She was hogtied.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean that it's just. Well, and today is just an industry
Here's
full
another-
of
Yeah,
deadbeat
yeah.
losers, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, seriously.
no.
Good
So-
stuff. Fun
Not
topics.
the fun Franco. No.
Yeah, this one
Yeah, let's-
sucks because I kind of like his performances. You know how that goes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you can't look past what he did or what he didn't do. So, Busy Phillips? Bussy? What?
Yeah, Busy Phillips.
Busy Phillips?
Let's
Okay.
call her Bussy.
Bussy! She just came out and said that Franco physically abused her while on the set of Freaks and Geeks. There was a scene where she improv'd and hit him in the chest, and he literally freaked out, pushed her down, and said, "Don't ever touch me again." The agents were notified, and he was made to apologize. So
Wait,
I'm
wait,
kind
wait,
of
wait,
confused
wait,
why
wait,
she's
wait,
coming
wait.
about
So she
yeah.
improv the scene and slapped him,
I guess she hit him in the chest. That's what she said. That's what the article said.
but he just
Ow,
pushed
you're
her.
hurting me.
And then
Yeah, but he pushed her down. Like, did
Yeah.
he? Did
pushed
he?
her down and like yelled at her in front of everybody, like they were filming.
Yeah, apparently grabbed her by the arms
Yeah,
and
and,
like
like, threw her
her
down.
to
Yeah.
the ground
Yeah.
rather aggressively.
Yeah.
Not saying that's right, but you can't just go up and slap somebody. Sometimes
okay.
people might have that space issue, and Franco could have been way oversensitive
Yeah, he says he
about
comes
it.
from an abused home, an abused household.
Ah.
But I mean, still, man, like
I mean,
Well, I
freaking
mean-
out is okay. He could have been, yo, what the fuck? You know, why'd you slap me like that? Or
But
what?
he didn't have to
But he
put
didn't
his
have
hands
to.
on her.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a line, and you're
No,
a
no,
guy.
no.
I'm sorry. There's a
Exactly.
line. You gotta control. We had that incident way back when we shot a film one time, dude. Like we had somebody fall off and slap, and the actor just rolled with it.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
and kept it in the. I get freaking out,
Yeah.
but you're a man. That's a
You're talking about
woman.
me?
You got it. No.
I've been
Was this in
I've been
what,
slapped, but
Trafalgar?
I asked her to do it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think I remember that scene.
But yeah, you got
Yeah.
there's a line and you can't
Talking about
cross it.
Trafalgar? Yeah, okay.
But and by the way, maybe it'd be more believable for Franco and everybody would be a little bit more sympathetic. But this is not the first time somebody's
No.
made these type claims against
Yeah.
him. That
But
he's
I will say, coming from that abusive background, it's easy to get back into that mindset and kind of freak out and overreact very
PTSD.
quickly. Yeah,
Yeah,
PTSD is
absolutely.
that's the
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't advocate he's still wrong for
No,
doing
yeah,
it,
agreed.
but there is
There needs a conversation needs to be had
Yes.
because of it. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
that's what I'm
completely.
saying. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, regardless of the way he was brought up or the things he had to go through or whatever, in the end, you make your
can't
own
do it.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to say, I'm
That's
not going to
socially
let that.
unacceptable and
Exactly.
unacceptable everywhere. So you can't do it, even though you've had a troubled past.
And-
Now his agents were called and he was made to apologize. Was that a public apology? or
I believe
directly
it
to her?
was like on set in front of everybody.
Oh, okay.
So it was that type. You're fired.
It'll definitely have to be something that we keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Because remember, he got
Definitely.
in some shit, a couple of years ago with Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
You know, they were both kind of accused around the same time of,
Yeah, that's
going
when Casey
hardcore.
Affleck was about to win his was it an Oscar for something?
Golden Globe or
Golden
Oscar,
Globe,
yeah.
yeah.
And Brie Larson was like, I'm not even going to, announce him.
Yeah.
She was supposed to give it to him, and
Oh,
she
shit.
was like, no,
Damn.
I'm not giving it to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Isn't the first time controversy has surrounded Franco.
it's
No.
not, and probably won't be the last.
no, honestly.
And let's be honest about it. This is not going away.
Yeah.
This movement,
It's
these
not.
problems, it's not going away.
No.
So,
So
yeah,
if you
I
got
think-
skeletons in your closet, watch out.
yeah, and I think, but I think you had it, J-Lo. I think that a dialogue needs to open, and we
Yeah.
need to talk about it.
Yeah.
This is something that needs to be talked about, and we've had several guests on our show from the other viewpoint, the other vantage point of it, saying, "Look, there are women out there that use it,
Yeah.
that take advantage of
Yeah.
it, and
Yep.
So we've heard, luckily for us, and please go back and listen to our old episodes. You'll great interviews. It's rampant on both sides, but until an open dialogue is there and both sides can say, this is what's going on,
Right.
nothing's going to change. So, I
Exactly.
mean, it's all about having a dialogue. And-
But this is what I'm wondering. Since all this is coming out, are we going to have a second chance level? Like if the offending actor goes through, and I'm not saying ones that have committed hundreds and like a Harvey Weinstein
Right.
escalation. I'm talking about an actor who has a few, maybe like a
Right.
James Franco situation. He's had a few. He's abused women. He comes out and admits
Allegedly.
to it. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me
Yeah, let's put
make
that
sure
out
so we don't
there.
get sued.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
allegedly
we don't want
abused
James
women.
Franco's lawyers on the phone.
Right.
But he goes and takes domestic violence rehabilitation, goes through
Right.
classes, takes a little bit more of an understanding from a female's approach.
Sensitivity
and goes to
sensitivity
that
training.
Well, it's a little bit more than that.
Right.
I'm with you.
And
I'm
then
with you on
should we
that.
give them a second chance out there? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're
I-
kind of like throwing these actors right underneath the bus and
Yeah.
not wanting to hear from them ever again. And
Yeah.
these are great actors.
Well, here's my thing, Chris. I'm with you on that, but I think all of it is moot unless
Yeah.
they acknowledge what they did.
Yeah, oh,
that's
that's the
also
first
a
thing.
big problem with this movement.
That
is
has to be the
none
first
of-
thing. Yeah.
Right. None of these men or women who
Yeah.
have abused men, none of them are with the exception of a couple.
Right.
None of them are acknowledging, yes, I did this.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can be given a second chance or given a chance at redemption
Yeah.
if you never acknowledge
Exactly.
that you did it.
You have to admit your flaws to get past them.
So I agree with you. I just think unless that happens, though, the answer would be no. You're
Yeah.
not getting a second.
But I'm just
chance.
wondering, would the movement allow it?
You would hope. You would hope, but
I
that's
feel
part
like a
goes-
lot of time would have to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the dialogue.
Yeah.
Maybe if they
Having
were to sit
conversations
down.
and him like somebody going to a rally or a speech or something like, look, I did this, but I'm sorry, I'm here for you guys now. And yeah.
Right. And express. Listen. I had this happen to me, or this is the way I was brought up. I
Right.
come from a different era. I come from a different and
Exactly.
explain. Doesn't in any way justify it,
No.
but it gives the other side a chance to understand
Where
at
you're
least
coming
where
from.
they're coming from
Exactly.
and why that behavior existed. And again, I think if you're going to give someone forgiveness, you have to understand why that behavior was present to begin with
Exactly.
before you can forgive it. So, and that
Agreed.
comes back to the dialogue, I think, So,
Agreed. Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
wow, that was deep, y'all.
That was deep.
That was deep.
That was deep.
Yeah.
That was good.
Let's talk a little bit about Sony. They are pushing back their release date schedules. Man, Sony, Fox, everybody. But this one is due to because of the James Gunn controversy. His film Brightburn was supposed to come out in November, but now it's going to come out in May 2019.
Yeah,
So-
and this one's really interesting because you're starting to see where studios line up because
Yeah,
also
seriously.
while Sony announced that they were pushing the release date back because of the controversy, Warner Brothers apparently is like, well, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna hire James Gunn
Yeah.
and he's gonna write the new Suicide Squad movie and we're probably gonna let him direct it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of seeing where the studios are all lining up on this James Gunn controversy,
seriously.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, but that was
because-
pretty funny. DC was like, "Oh, they threw away him.
Yeah,
Grab
yeah.
him now."
I know,
Yeah,
right?
Marvel threw him away.
Exactly.
We'll take him on.
Well, and Batista jumped right on board. He said, "Yo, I want to be in Suicide Squad too."
Who'd you
'cause,
say
know,
he'd be a great...
Killer Croc.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be
because
hilarious.
everybody kind of misreported at first that it was going to be a sequel, but
But
it's
isn't it
not.
like a-
James Gunn kind of came out and clarified this is
Killer
going to
Croc's
be
already in the first one.
Reboot.
well, this is going to be a
Oh, yeah,
retelling or a
reupdation,
Imagine.
yeah,
Yeah.
of it. So it's
Yeah.
not going to be a sequel.
Oh, so it's going to be the same characters.
We don't know.
Well, I mean, okay.
We don't know. But
The same universe.
one thing is certain. James Gunn is not an idiot.
No.
And he's not getting rid of Margot Robbie.
No.
In fact, that's probably Warner Brothers' only stipulation is you're not getting rid of
Yeah,
Margot Robbie
she's gotta
because she's
stay.
the perfect Harley Quinn. We don't care what you do with the rest of the characters, but
Exactly.
Harley Quinn is staying. And I'm with that.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like, do not
Well,
replace
Don't get rid of
Margot
her.
From a
Robbie.
person who hasn't seen Suicide Squad, what about Jared Leto's Joker?
Joker. Yeah.
Trash him.
Trash
Put him in
Yeah,
the trash.
yeah.
It's okay.
It's
do it.
Even
Yeah.
when he didn't have a lot of scenes or a lot of the scenes got cut.
It's, mm-mm.
It's weird.
Well,
It's-
according to paraphrasing what Jared Leto said, is like I guess you won't know how good it is unless he dies.
That's
Well,
what he put out.
yeah.
That's what he said.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
was his
but-
words.
Speaking of though, Harley Quinn, because
Yeah.
I want to get this out there. If you guys missed it, the new Harley Quinn animated series is coming from
Yeah.
the same creators behind
Yeah.
Batman the
Yeah,
animated
that's
series
exciting.
and everything, and it's
Ooh.
Kaylee Cuoco. And it's going to be R-rated.
Yeah, it sounds
and the
like it.
teaser trailer came out, and it's fucking epic.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Penny from Big
Penny
Bang
from
Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so while don't get rid of Margot Robbie live action, Kaylee Cuoco was the perfect fucking choice to
Yeah.
play her in the animated series.
Honestly.
And I think this thing is just going to knock it out of the park.
Hell yeah.
Who's
I
playing
think it's-
Joker?
Not sure. I would guess maybe Mark Hamill because they have a
That
little
would be
quick
epic.
cameo.
It wouldn't be epic.
They
My
have a
hands
little
are in the air. I know you can't see it on
Yeah,
camera,
no.
but I'm like, yes, please.
in the teaser trailer, they have a little quick cameo by Batman, literally like half a second, but it's Kevin Conroy. So I think it's going to be along those lines of the same voice actors. But I mean, they make fun of the DC movies. They make fun of Deadpool. You can just tell this is going to be epic
Yeah.
from start to finish.
I
So
can't wait.
Congrats on that. It's going to
Hell
be
yeah.
awesome.
Cannot
So-
wait for that.
Yeah, I think all those kids from Big Bang Theory are going to be okay when it
Yeah,
goes off. you know?
honestly.
I
Yeah,
think they're
maybe
gonna be all
old boy will go back to the Connors.
Yeah, he's going back to the Connors.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed he's
Yeah.
going to be over
Yeah,
there.
see, like,
right. Or they could just be like the Friends group and never work again.
and never work again.
Because-
$20 million, guys.
Wait.
Everybody-
The Friends group didn't work again.
Everybody from Friends is currently still making $20 million a year from the residuals from syndication.
But
Yeah.
they're still working.
But they don't
Oh,
have
they don't
to.
have
I know they-
Exactly. They don't
$20
have
million
to.
dollars, and the Big
I
Bang
mean-
Gang has a better deal.
Yeah,
than that.
exactly. That's what
so
you were
there's
saying.
no telling.
And
how
I
much
wonder,
they're gonna get.
because of the Funko Pops, the Friends Funko Pops just
Yeah.
came out recently. So
Oh,
I wonder how much
might
money
have to
they
get
each
some
I
of
don't know.
those.
That they might have to renegotiate because I know that there were several shows that had those deals like that for syndication and stuff.
Yeah.
That did not include merchandising.
Oh,
See,
shit.
Big Bang's got merchandising.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the way to go now.
Yeah.
You know, even
Hell
Robert Downey Jr. was like, no, I want in on
yeah.
the merchandising
Let
of
me get
Avengers
some of that.
also.
Hell
You
yeah.
know that's the way to
That's
go.
what- that's
I wonder how
what,
much Ryan Reynolds has for Deadpool because there is
Dude,
a ton
that's-
of
yeah. That
was the
Deadpool everything.
Yeah,
that
I
was the
wouldn't be
terms of
surprised at
Jack
all.
Nicholson's deal to play the Joker. Was,
Yeah, I
was
mean,
not just because it was the 50th anniversary of Batman that year, and it wasn't just movie merchandising. He wanted Batman merchandising.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, okay,
That's epic.
and so
He got it too.
we kind of to bring this wrap it back around to James Gunn. I'm kind of excited about this because from looking past the ridiculous tweets, and if you don't know what we're talking about, go listen to our old shows.
Yes.
Looking past that, he has proven to be a brilliant director, and he's
Right.
proven to be a brilliant director with ensemble groups of weird, quirky characters. So I can't think of a better guy to take over the freaking Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Honestly.
it's what he's going to do with it will be
Yeah,
exciting.
but will they be serious about what the tone of Suicide Squad? Okay, granted, it could be somewhat comedic, but they are villains.
There's only one.
It should be like an R-rated.
Right,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
it
it
should
should be.
definitely
Oh,
be
yeah,
R-rated.
agreed.
Yeah.
And really, the only question left to ask is, who will Sean Gunn and Michael Roker play? Because they're guaranteed to
Yeah,
be in it.
somewhere.
Like they're going to be in it
Yeah.
somewhere. So who are they going to play?
Hell yeah.
Well,
real
here's the other question:
That's
Did
the
they
real
pick
question.
anybody
Boomerang.
yet for Guardians to take over for James Gunn's position?
They have not announced that yet, but I think if it's looking like Thor director.
Yeah,
That's he's from New Zealand. I cannot think of
Yeah,
his name.
yeah.
And
Waikiki.
he's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Waikiki something.
Yeah.
But I would
Um,
love his quirky. He has a really quirky sense too.
Yeah.
And he puts himself in there
Yeah.
and several
Yeah.
actors.
I wonder if we could do a remake of the Waikiki "Do You Love Me"?
Wakiki, do you love me?
And we could have the Guardians cast.
It's
do it.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
It's
like
Wakita
classic.
something Taiku.
Oh
There
my
you go.
gosh, yes.
But so yeah, and you know, see, because I'm the king of transition here. Speaking of Roker, let's just go right into a sad, kind of sad.
Bring it
Al
down.
Roker?
Bring it down.
Yeah, Scott Wilson,
Scott Wilson.
who played Herschel on The Walking Dead,
Yep.
Maggie's dad, passed away, 76.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Walking Dead. We've had Jason Warner Smith on the show, and James Chen is today. So we'll but they're a family, and they were all hit pretty
Seriously.
hard, and it was crazy because if you guys aren't familiar with what's going on in the current season, they're kind of doing flashback type things from all of the different seasons as a
Yeah.
way to say goodbye to Rick, I guess, in the storyline, and they had announced at New York Comic Con that Herschel was coming back.
Yeah.
And literally, it was like 20 minutes after they had announced that Herschel was going to be on season 9, they found out that he had passed. So the
Crazy.
family took it kind of hard, and
Yeah.
lots of tributes and everything. But yeah, that's too bad because Herschel was the guy who played Herschel. Everybody loved him. They had so much respect for him.
Yeah.
And I got the opportunity to see him at Walker Stalker Con, and John Bernthal especially just could not stop praising him.
Yeah.
Like what an impeccable actor he was, and what just a human being,
Yeah.
an impeccable human
That's
being he
epic.
was. So clearly a loss. And he's been in The Heat of the Night way back with Sidney Poitier, and just a
Ooh.
brilliant career.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So rest in peace.
Yeah, seriously.
Big loss.
Yeah,
and,
big
and,
loss.
We're gonna miss him.
Yeah.
Not the only loss.
Not
No,
the only
we have
one.
another loss
Oh,
here.
and just to clarify, his name is Taika Waititi. That was the
Taika
name of-
Waititi.
That's the name of the guy that.
That's
Okay. Yeah. Director for Guardians.
Yeah. Going back to that one. So-
Scott Wilson is
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
No, no,
no.
no. I'm saying
All right.
we got his name wrong. I just wanted
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
clarify.
okay. And then
Audrey Wells.
Audrey Wells.
Yeah, the screenwriter who adapted the Angie Thomas novel "The Hate You Give" for the big screen. She died of cancer Thursday, right before the limited release of the film was released. So that is a real shame because that movie looks so powerful.
It looks. Yeah, I think this
And-
movie's going to do really well.
Yeah.
And unfortunate. Apparently had been battling cancer for a while.
Yeah.
Lost the battle, and rest in peace, Miss
Yeah,
Wells,
seriously.
because I think her film, it'll be nice posthumously, I think, because I think the film is going to do really, really well.
Yeah.
And so much
That opens
kudos to
wide
her.
the 19th, I believe, the weekend of the 19th. Yeah.
So yeah, it just
It's
losing
sad.
a lot of good people.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of
Losing
good people with
people.
a lot of big things coming up recently, honestly, and just more names to be at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Don't forget anybody.
Yeah, right.
They
Like, oh my
forget a
God.
lot
They
of people.
forget
Oh,
a
man.
lot of people.
Yeah.
they really do. Or decide to put people in you probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
put in.
you're like, what?
And yeah,
What?
yeah.
I've been liking the YouTube channel Looper, I think it's called.
Yeah, I
they've been
watched that
doing
one.
great memorials. They do like
That's
2
cool.
videos a year. They do up in like August. They do stars that passed away, and then they do an additional video. And every year they've been doing really touching little tributes,
There you
really
go.
showing off everything of the actor and talking about the actor.
Yeah.
or actress.
Yeah.
So we know as of late, let's bring it back up a little bit.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's bring it back up.
Hot
The women's movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Women-led film directors. So a couple weeks back, or a couple months back, actually, we had talked about Doctor Who being replaced by a woman.
Yeah.
And wasn't a popular decision amongst everybody, but apparently
But Doctor Who isn't
It was,
determined to
um,
be a man.
no, we've talked about it, but apparently it was the right decision because it 8.2 million viewers and a 40% share in the first episode with Jodie Whittaker
There you
taking
go.
over. It was a huge rating success.
awesome.
We'll have to see whether that drops off a little bit. It could have been just a
Right.
lot of people tuning in to check
Yeah,
out a
to
female
see
Doctor
how
Who.
it is.
But huge congrats.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I think, and on the other side of that, did you see the producer for James Bond said absolutely not, no way, never will James Bond be a woman.
I saw that.
I'm like, why,
Why?
dude? Why?
I do not understand.
Because he's going to become black, and it's going to be played by oh man, I forgot his
Ibris.
name.
Ibris.
Idris Elba.
Yeah,
Idris
Idris
Elba.
Elba. Yeah.
Or Henry Cavill.
Or Henry Cavill.
That's the latest rumor
Yeah.
now, Henry Cavill.
Okay,
So
yeah, I can see him, but
totally see him doing
Hell
that.
yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
and speaking of females,
Females.
you want to take this one?
No, go ahead.
Riverdale.
Riverdale.
Riverdale announced 2 females to the cast. Going to be joining the cast.
Yeah, huh?
Gina Gershon as Jughead's mom, and Trinity Linkins as his little sister.
Yeah.
Trinity first role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
So,
pretty
Gina
epic.
Gershon, I mean, well known amongst anybody who watches films and television.
Yeah.
She's been around a while.
It's
and
pretty
she's-
awesome because freaking sorry to cut you off. The white boy Rick, that main kid was a first.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool to see like
Has
all
that
these
come out
kids
yet?
getting. Yeah, it came out.
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's
3
Oh wait,
weeks
it was
ago.
out. It was out when we were in.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
I gotta see that.
Freaking, it's just awesome that all these young actors, aspiring actors, really to
Yeah.
get all these chances.
Yeah,
So,
getting opportunities on big.
Yeah.
I think it's great casting.
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's going to be like really good.
Yeah. Seriously though,
So, and then kind of on the flip side of that, we got a lot of people leaving.
it's true.
We know
Especially Shameless.
yeah, Shameless. Emmy Rossum's already announced that she's leaving the show.
Yeah.
and now
There's not gonna be much of a show left then.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what he was saying.
Yeah, now Cameron Monaghan is leaving. So.
Yeah. That's
I
the
mean-
dude from Joker, right?
He's currently
in
playing
Gotham.
Joker on Gotham,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's been
He's
everywhere.
Jerome.
so that's probably why it's probably more focused on the Joker role.
Well, but it's ending too. This is its last season,
Yeah.
so
Huh.
Interesting.
But he has started to take off. He's
Yeah.
kind of like everywhere right now, and
Makes sense.
You've got the youngest sister is on the Connors.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
as Darlene's daughter,
Yeah.
so they're all kind of going, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate to
There's
say
not
it, but I
much of it.
think
I
this
mean-
is probably going to trigger a wrap up.
I mean,
I think
It's
so.
going to start
Probably.
just doing a wrap up
I mean-
of Shameless.
I mean, Bill Macy can't carry the show. He's kind of like what. He's not exactly the star, but he's kind of
Isn't
like
he
Oh,
the
he's the
problem
largest
they
piece of
always
crap.
probably
fix?
he's
Yeah.
like he's the catalyst. Of
Yeah.
anything.
yeah. But I mean, I love the show. I'm a huge fan of the show. I thought it's been brilliantly done its entire run, but it has kind of just like run its course. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, I mean,
how much further are they going to be? They have to turn into terrorists themselves to make it any more
well,
shocking.
Yeah.
the British it's
the
British.
British version, yeah.
I
it's
mean, I don't know if it was
original
British or Irish. Or
Our
something, but
version is supposed to be exactly taken from the British.
I know. It's
version.
like, but that's been gone for a while now. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, how much further can they go?
Yeah.
If the original
Exactly.
didn't last, it's way surpassed the original.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean,
So yeah,
Probably
probably you
time.
guys are probably right. Probably just wrapping it up.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I
that's okay.
mean, every
Had a
great
good
show
run.
has its run.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it had a long run.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a successful run. So
exactly.
Okay.
exactly. Now let's switch it over to a little bit to music. Nirvana, at least. Oh, really?
Hey.
Dude, you're
our
gonna scratch your desk.
Phone drop. The
Phone
mouth
drop.
just dropped his phone.
That's right.
Nirvana is talking about a reunion tour with Joan Jett.
Not okay with this.
He's not okay with this.
We've had this discussion on the show
He's
before.
protesting.
About Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Dennis DeYoung and Styx, and like we can go over and over and over again. I love Nirvana. I love Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Joan Jett is Joan Jett. Nirvana is Nirvana, and
Yeah.
you can't replace Kurt Cobain.
Like the one tour, I understand. They needed to get through that tour.
right,
But
right.
no.
Even having her
Nah.
come and perform with them at their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. Okay.
Yeah.
But don't go on tour
No.
and say it's a reunion tour because
When
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's not. And
on,
don't
Dave.
don't do this.
Come on, Dave.
Don't do this. Come on, Dave.
Girl,
Exactly.
come on.
Don't do
Don't do
this.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what's Chris
Just-
Novoselic been doing?
Chilling,
trying to
having
be
a family life,
Well, he was trying to
raking
be a
in the.
politician, but that didn't really work out
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
him too well.
Listen.
Just enjoy your family.
Yeah,
Nah.
just bring Joan on tour.
Yeah.
Don't
exactly.
don't just bring her on tour with the Foo Fighters, bro.
Yeah.
And just let that be
Exactly.
that.
Just let
You've
it
done that in the
happen.
past. Just do that.
Exactly.
Hey,
We don't
Dustin.
need
David going to be over here in New Orleans in February. Why don't you just a couple days after Valentine's Day go down
I
there?
will.
You go tell him.
I will.
Right. Tell.
I will. I'm just saying we don't need this.
No.
we don't.
He's gonna
need this.
pick it outside the concert.
Yeah, I'm against this.
But
so-
yes, and also there's been some talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees this year: Devo, Janet Jackson, Stevie Nicks, Radiohead, LL Cool J, Def Leppard, Rage Against the Machine, and a few more. But,
yeah, I'm excited about these.
Yeah,
there's
honestly.
some awesome potential nominees here.
Yeah, seriously, I think it should be changed to the Music Hall of Fame.
Instead of the Rock and Roll
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
because you're inducting like rappers in there, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of disrespectful, especially like trying to
I think the
like
argument.
balance everything.
I've heard the argument that they've made is that it all spawned out of rock and roll.
I mean,
well,
no, I feel like blues
Really,
and
if you want to do
jazz
it,
started
yeah.
first.
If you really want to say it, you don't even have to say blues. It's a heart and soul rhythm.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't
that's
even
the
say it
argument
right.
I've heard made. that
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
pretty much was born out of rock.
Yeah.
and
I
roll
think
anyway.
rock and roll was more born out of all the other.
That's what I'm
genres. Like,
saying.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like there needs to be a conversation to be had to change it to
just to the
Music
music,
Hall of Fame.
Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and
Yeah.
but I am, like I said, though, I am excited about a couple of these, especially Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
We know that Stevie Nicks is already in there for Fleetwood Mac,
Yeah.
but this is for her solo career.
There you go.
To be put in as a solo artist,
Hell
which
yeah.
hands down should be.
Hell
She's
yeah.
one of the most iconic voices in music history in the
Yeah.
last generation. So,
Hell yeah.
and come on, ladies love Cool J.
Ladies love Cool
Ladies
Yeah, but what
love
happens
Cool
if
James.
you do induct Rage Against the Machines? What are they going to do is like stand up on the speakers and start having a problem with the establishment
Yeah.
again?
Yes. I don't.
Well,
like the
I'm sure you
system.
can expect a speech that's going to be pretty heavily political.
Yeah, well,
Tom's going to get up there and he's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have something to say about the
Soapbox is not gonna be high
war or
enough.
Donald or something.
Yeah,
well, and Def
somebody.
Leppard. I mean, yeah. I mean, how can you if you're going to continue to call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
You
Got
Got a
gotta
really
have-
bad joke.
I mean,
in-
Def Leppard. in
Were you
there,
gonna
right?
make a one-arm joke?
No, I was
Oh.
going to say give him a hand.
Oh.
Oh,
So, yes.
wow.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. See, now I wasn't going to say
He
it.
deserves it. He
I wasn't
deserves
gonna
it.
say
I
it.
know. I brought it up. I'm sorry. I set you up for failure.
And I'm
He
okay with-
deserves it.
It's true, and I'm okay with Janet Jackson going in.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a very successful solo
Definitely.
career. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
bravo
okay.
to you
yeah.
guys.
It's a good class.
Yeah.
Now, who they whittle it down to actually, and I'm sure one of these will do like they did last year with Bon Jovi. One of these will be a fan pick that goes in
That'd be
based on
cool.
who the fans pick. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, gonna be interesting.
All right, now it's time for this week's guest. This week we have the one and only Mr. James Chen. You might have seen him on things like The Amazing Spider-Man, Iron Fist, The Walking Dead, 7 Seconds, just a whole bunch of stuff, man. It's going to be so cool to talk to him about his career and what it's like in the entertainment industry. And he came from Yale, of all places.
Yale, he's an Ivy Leaguer.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So
Yeah.
epic. So
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
Gotta put on the brain cap, man.
I know.
We gotta get ready for him. I'm excited though, and I mean I'm gonna ask him some things about Marvel, and he's probably gonna tell me he can't tell me
Yeah.
because you know how they are.
It's
They're
true.
like so
It's true.
ridiculously secretive. They'd be like, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you, kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Just-
they don't
I think
like
the only
those
one who gets
spoilers.
away with it is the kid for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try though.
He's the only
Tom
one.
Holland.
They
Tom
stopped giving him
Holland,
scripts.
Yeah, they stopped actually giving him stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm excited about this. He should be calling in like any second now.
Awesome. All right, here he is.
Hi, is this James?
It is. Thanks. Sorry, you're hearing my GPS talk to us.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
You're fine, man. Hey, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. We appreciate having you on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Great to be here. It's so crazy.
It is
It is
crazy.
so crazy.
Just wait. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
There you go. All right, he's already cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it right from the start. I'm a huge geek. This is Dustin speaking to you right now. Huge geek.
What's up, Dusty?
And so I'm Walking Dead and the Marvel Universe. You already like I have so many things to talk to you about.
Yes.
I've been a Law and Order fan since I can't even remember when. So we've got to talk about that, and then excited about FBI with staying with Dick Wolf and everything. So we got a lot to talk about. There's everybody's here today. So we got Jason, Logan, Emily, Tavia, and Soundman Chris with us. So we kind of go around and it's very conversational, man. We just kind of start talking and kind of lead into some things, and we just no set format of questions or anything. We just like to keep it really loose and crazy. So.
Okay, cool. Loose, crazy. And what about how about Ant Farmy?
And well,
Of
sure,
course.
Ant Farmy, no
Of
problem.
course.
We can totally do that. Once you come in, you might never be able to escape.
Yeah,
though. I'm just
exactly.
telling you, so.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing that jumped out at us, definitely, is Yale. So,
Oh, what's up?
yeah, that's pretty impressive, man. Yale, Ivy Leaguer. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, how did is acting something you always kind of wanted to do? Did you know from a young age, or how did it all come about, and how does Yale play into it?
Good question. You gotta say it like Yale.
Wow,
we were
that
talking
was-
about-
Yeah, that was before we called. We were all doing our Yale impressions.
And then-
My
and then
grandfather was a
you have to
Yaley.
You have to mime a pipe or something.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
I'm actually
And
have a
no
pipe
matter
right
how
now.
you say it, you just can't try to. You can't cut through that pretentiousness.
Well, we had wine
At
glasses
least-
in our hands,
at least
pushing
he's
the wine
honest,
around.
Yeah.
I'm drinking my favorite
No,
cognac
stop.
right now.
That's right. That's right.
Right. That's a great question. I grew up like a big nerd in Long Island, and I was super studious, and like my folks are immigrants from Asia, and so it was all about academics and like being like the doctor and lawyer that I could be.
Ah, yes.
I see.
Right, and I always had an interest in movies growing up. Like I loved going to the movies, loved watching TV, loved cartoons. I think I always had an amazing imagination. I loved to draw, but it really wasn't until I got to college that I had a chance to really explore this curiosity I had for acting. Like I had never acted before that. I mean, if you don't count the second grade play.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right, which, yeah, I guess we all have that.
Dude, I put away the tights in second grade a long time ago. Right there with
it's
you.
fine.
That was a great Peter Pan. Okay.
I just love the idea of like a 7-year-old's tights hanging in your closet.
Hey, we told you it was crazy. Okay, don't judge.
Right, never.
He showed us.
So I'm in undergrad, and I decided to take an acting class. I was on this biochemistry track back then, and I was like, oh god, I can't just do this biochem stuff. So I took this acting class, and I loved it. And then I took another one, and I loved that. And then, as a non-major, there were no more classes left for me to take, so I had to go to the theater in downtown Philly and take classes there. And once I took all those classes, I was like, well, shoot, I just auditioned for extracurricular theater shows at school. I got an agent locally. It was booking local commercials and industrials and stuff. And so instead of studying for midterms, I was mapping out a 3-step transportation, like subway to bus to taxi.
Hell
so I
yeah.
could get to this industrial shoot, right? Yeah. And I would skip organic chemistry lab to write and direct this play I was making for
wow.
the Chinese Students Association. and I graduated eventually with an econ degree and immediately got a job as a busboy.
Of course.
I mean, why not?
Right? My dad was like, James, your mother and I have been married for over 30 years. This is the hardest time of our marriage.
Oh,
That's a lot of pressure.
Wow.
Yeah, no pressure. But so like my first year out of school, I was like, okay, let me do this full time for a year, see if it's something that I can imagine myself doing for the rest of my life.
right.
And it was. I loved it. I stayed local in Philly, acting and auditioning and working there. It's a wonderful theater town. This is all theater, by the way.
Yeah.
And I knew, at the time, Meryl Streep was like my girl. She was like my actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, River runs through it.
There you go.
River Wild. I was
Yeah,
like,
Wow, yeah.
That's my girl. And so I was like, well, where did she go to school? Oh, she went to Yale. So I did all the research, and I went up there. I visited. I talked to students and teachers. Saw some shows. I also checked out like Juilliard and NYU, but Yale was my first choice, and I was very lucky that in Philly I was connected to a wonderful actor and acting teacher and director named Andrew Borthwick Leslie, who I credit to getting me into Yale just through like audition preparation. And so I auditioned and I got in, and 3 years of pain, torture, and agony later, and a lot of Stella Artois.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't-
okay, I gotta ask though, how did the parents rebound with Yale? Were they like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
James?
I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. There's like this joke, like these jokes amongst the Asian community where it's like it's all about like what can they brag to their friends about.
Yeah.
So even though it was Yale, even though it was acting, the fact that it was Yale, it was like okay. And at the very least, like I could teach because I had an MFA. So
There you go.
If the shit really hit the fan, like,
There
I'd
you
be
go.
doing
Exactly.
that, I guess. Nothing against teachers, but just, like, as far as feeding myself.
Right.
And, so I'm very, very grateful. My folks have done a full 180. They're very supportive. I didn't expect that, honestly. But
Yeah.
it took about, like 10 years and so. But,
Yeah.
they're with it. They're with the program.
Awesome.
Yeah, it kind of went like, what the hell are you doing? To like, it was a great idea. I'm glad we thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. Thank you. I owe it all
We
to you.
always knew you were going to succeed at this.
That's right. I took from all of that Meryl Streep made him go to Yale.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. Thank you, Meryl Streep. Like,
That's a really I do not mention that enough. You're right. I should say that more.
you should.
You
Yeah,
should.
and maybe Meryl will agree.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
guys
never
come
know.
on the show together next time. We'll have a big long talk
Yeah,
about it.
I
definitely.
didn't know that Meryl Streep
Oh
was a
yeah,
recruiter
sure.
for
What are you
Yale.
doing next weekend? I'll bring her by.
There you go.
She's a Yale recruiter.
That's interesting though. It's funny that the Philly, because I wouldn't guess that a lot of people would realize that Philly has such a large theater community.
I didn't know that.
And
Yeah.
I personally, I didn't know, and I think we were all just kind of listening to you say that. Go, wow, Philly, really?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with you. I'm like born and raised in Long Island. I kind in a bubble, but like a healthy suburban bubble, I guess.
Yeah.
But so I only went to New York like a handful of times growing up, and when I went to Philly, that was like one of my first times ever. And like you, I just didn't know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just was very lucky to have stumbled into that town. It's very it's obviously much smaller, but it's a very well knit, supportive, talented community of artists. A lot of different, like there's dance and there's experimental theater, but there's also what you might consider a more traditional like playhouses sorts of things. Great, a lot of great little theater companies there.
Right.
So
Right.
I recommend it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think
Yeah.
sometimes that's the best way to go, is the small, tight knit community. I think to launch. I don't know. You just need a support system, especially in this industry. So I think that type of a community is probably a good way to get started.
Yeah, I just like another little thought that you reminded me of is like I remember when I graduated, I had basically a decision. I could either stay in Philly and like audition and work in acting in theater in Philly, or I could go to New York. And I remember at the time thinking, I don't really understand or know New York very well. I feel like I'd waste a year just like figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I probably would just get lost in the shuffle and turned around because it's just a madhouse. So it was one of the reasons I decided to stay in Philly was because I knew it. It was manageable.
Right.
From what I could tell, it had a very supportive, kind of fertile theater acting community.
Mhm.
So I decided to do that.
Yeah, that's
It really kind of ties in with what James Dumont said in our interview with him about how you can start in your own town and get established there, and then move on to like a bigger pond and to
Right.
other projects when you're noticed and when people are noticing you from afar.
Right.
In your own
Be
town.
a small fish in a small pond before you graduate into
Right.
bigger
Yeah.
pond.
Right. And then
Right.
so what made the transition to New York? Because another one of our guests had a really good point too about you get to this level where like when you're at the top of the game, the head of the class, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Because it's time to,
Yeah.
to grow further or learn. So and I'm guessing the next progression was New York, and that's kind of where you made the jump there to theater. And we all know eventually the Dick Wolf juggernaut that is Law and Order.
Yeah.
So I mean, where did that progression
Never heard
come,
of it.
and how did that happen?
So it happened after Yale. It's like a 3-year conservatory program. At the end of it, there's what's called like a showcase. So everyone in the graduating class, there was 15 of us. We each did like 2 contrasting scenes. Like each of us made about a show of about 45 minutes or so. We did it once in New York, once in Los Angeles, and I think and then after you do that, there you kind of get like a sheet from the administrator about which casting directors and agencies and managers who attended that showcase are interested in taking a meeting and discussing representation.
Well, that's really
And I remember, right? Yeah, and I remember specifically going to meet an agent in LA, and she's like, "Great, wow, we pretty much by and large across the board, everyone hated that Yale showcase." I was like, "Oh, shit."
Oh man.
damn.
And I was just coming out of 3 years of immersion in theater, and I was
Right.
like, "How dare you? You don't understand art." And but now I was like, God, almost 10 years later, having lived in LA and done a decent amount of TV, like I get it. Like we were doing like kind of classic and contemporary theater scenes that just
Right.
didn't have like that commercial whip and pop
Right.
that I think the TV industry of LA is accustomed to. So our class as a whole didn't get a great response from LA, but we did get pretty much by and large across the board. All of us had like a really great response from reps in New York. So all signs seem to be pointing there, and me and probably like 95% of my class, we all went from New Haven to New York, and they would just kind of hit the ground running. Well, not really. We
Not
kind of
really.
started over, I guess.
Yeah.
But we had each other.
Yeah.
There you go.
Again, though,
At least you weren't alone.
Yeah, making the
Right.
jump with somebody, with
Yeah.
the community, and so that,
Right.
that's fantastic. Now, did it start? Did you kind of gravitate to theater there first, or were you? I mean, how were you looking for other avenues other than theater, or?
I was. The plan at the time was to basically do both, balance both as much as possible. I definitely was hungry to do a professional theater production after doing it in school for so many years. But I was obviously also like super excited to do TV and film, and it was just an interesting learning curve to audition and work in TV and film and just for the camera in general after 3 years of like learning your instrument for the theater.
Right.
It's like I remember I had a teacher at Yale who it was our camera teacher, and she's like, well, you guys already know how to act, so this is not really an acting course. I'm just here to like introduce you to other maybe technical concepts about the camera and maybe like film and TV scripts. And we're like, cool. And I guess that's true in one respect, but the more I began to, I guess, like understand TV and do TV and like take classes in TV and audition and work on different TV and film material, the more I was like, it is also kind of like a different art form, depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah. So, all that to say is, I did a decent amount of like small off Broadway theater in New York while I figured out how to audition competently for TV.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I still think that a lot of people underestimate how much work, I mean, I've said it before, how much work and how difficult it is to really be a working actor in any kind of medium. And that people think that you can just, you can act, you can go on TV and you can go on the stage, and they don't comprehend how different and unique and challenging each area is on its
They're two
own.
completely different animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think people don't realize that sometimes because it looks easy because the actors are good and they make it look easy.
Right. No, that's so true. I remember James Lipton was being interviewed by Larry King back in 2009 or something like that, and Lipton was telling Larry, like, yeah, people see these great actors on TV and they're like, oh, it's so easy. They're just like walking and talking, but it's just like you said. It's like the great ones are the ones that make it look effortless.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, a camera class, that's interesting because, I think a lot of our listeners, they're new or they're trying to break into the industry and they don't know a lot of the stuff. And so it's because, you don't just, when the camera's on, you don't just walk and talk and do, like,
it's
I
about
think like your
blocking.
teacher said, if you can act, you're acting, you've got skill and talent, but it also requires being able to hit a mark on the floor
Right.
that you're
Blocking.
supposed to
Yeah.
stop at, where the camera needs to be and the blocking of the scene. And there's
Yeah.
so much more that goes into it that I think on the technical side that people just don't understand
Yeah.
that as an actor, you also have to learn
Yeah.
to be able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. Like I remember, even to this day, right? Like, I feel like I'm reminding myself or keeping in the back of my head how, it's like when we're doing theater, are you guys, I feel like you guys have like a background in theater or acting in the arts as well.
We most of us around here we're involved in the entertainment industry and have a background in either or. We've come up in different stages and different either working in film or working in theater or not. So yeah.
Yeah, acting,
Cool.
theater, and
Yeah, I
film.
remember like just making this distinction because like in theater, like you're sitting in like anywhere from like a 200 seat black box to like a 1,000 seat Broadway house,
Right.
1,000 plus. Like the stage is that proscenium, like that 50, 100 foot wide proscenium and tall, and so that's what people look at.
Right.
But I guess when you're looking at the camera or the screen that the camera projects, it's like the same idea, but the proscenium, especially if it's like a close up, it could be from like your right ear to your left ear.
Right.
Mhm.
So if that's true, then I think it's like the same principles. It's just on a different scale. So
Right.
I think the actor has to be more mindful of extraneous movement for
Yeah.
one, and on top of that every movement communicates something. So if it's not specific, it becomes muddy very quickly.
That's a really interesting
It
description.
is.
of
Well,
how-
I mean,
of how that, yeah.
when you say the proscenium is pretty much could be a close up or anything like that. There's things you can do on a close up on a screen, and you can on stage that you could basically emote and show make a whole scene with your face without saying a word. You can't do on
Exactly.
stage.
Right.
Yes. or maybe the equivalent on stage would be using your full body,
Right.
a
Right.
full body gesture,
Mhm.
or a gesture that is visible
To a crowd.
in the context of you being in a picture frame that's 100 feet
Gotcha.
wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that a difficult transition? Did you find that you had to tone down the physical performance when you started making the transition to film and television? That you didn't have to be so over the top with the physical now that you're off the
Yeah.
stage? Yeah, was that a
100.
difficult process or?
I want to say yes. I kind of feel like I'm one of those people that, it's like, sometimes I have beginner's luck. In the short term, I feel like I have beginner's luck, but in the long term, I feel like I just like struggle and slog and mess up and trip and like fall down and like have to figure it out and bang my head against the wall to get better.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so yes.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
you know what? I feel like I understood the principle, but it took me a year plus to really like embody it.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and that's life, right? We all got to fall down, hit our
Yeah,
heads, and mess up. I mean,
exactly.
that's life.
And we're all our own worst
Right.
critics, anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, for me, I think I'd have a really hard time. I guess I kind of always, if I was going to do anything, it would be theater because I talk really loud and I use my hands a lot. So I feel like if I was trying to do TV, they'd be like, "Stop moving your hands, calm down." You know,
Right. Great for musicals.
Exactly. So much,
Belting out
respect
show
for the
tunes.
people who are able to do it in that kind of a medium because I'd have no problems, screaming on stage, but I'd have all kinds of problems just stopping to move my hands on film.
So that makes me think of my question I wanted to ask you. Clearly, you love to act and you love everything about it. But if you had to choose just one medium to do for the rest of your life, either film, TV, stage, something, what do you think is your absolute favorite? Even though I know you love them all.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, that
only
is
ask
a
the
good
tough
question,
questions.
and I think about it often just because I don't do as much theater these days, and I feel sad because of that.
Yeah.
But I would probably do film, honestly.
Okay.
Because if you put a proverbial gun to my head, because I think
We'll
it's
get to
because
Walking
it's-
Dead later, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing proverbial about it.
I think it's because it can impact more people
Okay.
and thereby make a bigger impact in the world.
Yeah.
I
But
agree,
that's
actually.
not to say that like I haven't had transcendent experiences in the theater with incredible artists. Because like a film they say is a director's medium, which I think is probably true, and therefore the actor, even though brilliant, like it's still not, the film is the work. It's like the actors doing their job within the greater work of the film directors, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I guess with theater, it feels more like once the curtain goes up, it's like that actor is. They say theater is the actor's medium, and that the actor is basically not in charge of the show. They're still trying to fulfill an agreement of the rehearsal process. But it's like it's dependent on the actor's organic timing and real thoughts and all those things, which is obviously a very different experience.
Right.
It's almost like you're watching more of a virtuoso in the theater.
I always looked at theater as opposed to screen or film or anything. Theater is definitely like working out. It's like an exercise. You're basically exercising, and you're strengthening it through theater, and you could do it in any medium at that point. But I mean, it's not the same animal. But
Well, I like how you described it as the difference between film and theater as a director's medium or an actor's medium, and I like that analogy because I feel like on stage, where you said, and I like your terminology of a contract with the rehearsal, but as much as the director guides you through the rehearsals and has a vision for what he wants to see you do on the screen, I have to agree with you that I think it's more of an actor's medium because you have a live audience. And an actor on stage, no matter how much he's tries to resist, is going to react to the audience. And if he needs to adapt that performance based on the feedback he's immediately getting from the audience, I feel like that's all actor and not director. So, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from with more of an actor's medium that way.
Yeah. Totally true. I guess actually the other point that I'm sorry, I don't know who that was that made it about it.
Dustin. Or
Hey,
Jason with the exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time, and I think it's totally true that theater is so much more of an athletic experience because, just like the voice alone, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like on TV and film, you have a microphone that's like at your collarbone,
Right.
Yeah.
So
And in theater, inflection is
like-
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like you can talk so. I don't want to use these like gross terms of like low, but like you can.
That's disgusting.
You
Like,
can
you
get it
can
low.
talk.
It's okay.
No, I'm kidding.
What was that?
I said, that's disgusting, but I was joking. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, it's just get out of here. No, yeah, it's like you could talk so low, it could almost be like artificially low, like
Right.
lower than you would in real life, and that would be completely appropriate for like a close up or something. But yeah, to generate the amount of energy vocally to fill a house, even if you're mic'd, because it's like your vocal energy that comes from a full body physical place. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like it requires your like the conditioning of your full body instrument to do stuff like that. So like for 2 hours. So I completely agree with that.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so let's jump in because you're in New York and you're doing Law and Order. I mean, Dick
Yeah.
Wolf, man. I mean, this guy, the Law and Order machine, if you will, has
Yeah.
been. I mean, and we've had several guests on the show who have been on Law and Order who describe it just as that, a well-oiled machine that you're lucky to get into and be a part of. What was that like? I mean, I immediately from the get-go knew exactly Law and Order. I remember your stint on there, it's several episodes, and I liked
great.
I liked the fact that they kind of got away from our core group of little 4 or 5 and showed that it was more of a larger world of other CSU people, and not just these 5 people. So I enjoyed that aspect when they kind of took that season and did that. But what was it like? I mean, working in the Law and Order machine, if you will, and I mean that has to be quite the experience, right?
It was amazing. Like you, I grew up, and I am not even joking. Law and Order SVU, it was my favorite show.
Yeah.
Something about, I mean, God, Dick Wolf is the master, man. Like, just amazing storytelling, the pace of it, and it's almost this is a compliment. But in the same way that, like, how Scooby Doo is formulaic, I've never thought of this until now.
Yeah.
Zoinks!
Yeah.
Right. Or like, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you crazy kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's something like really, really satisfying about that format. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so the Chris, I think also it was it is an amazing show because of Mariska Hargitay and Chris Maloney, as well as like Ice-T and Stephanie March and everyone else.
Right.
B.D. Wong, like fantastic actors. I remember specifically. For example, it was like really late. It was midnight, and we were in Chelsea Studios doing a scene, and it was supposed to be a dorm room. So we were in a soundstage. It was like all concrete walls, and I walk in there onto set, and Chris Maloney has already been there, like pacing in this really small room, like a 10-foot by 10-foot room. He's just like meticulously going over his lines and his kind of like, you can tell he's like trying to locate himself in that moment. And I don't know, as an actor, I was like, I fucking love you, man. Because that was season 12.
Yeah.
And I was like, Chris Maloney had done whatever, like 24 times 12 episodes, like however 200 episodes. I don't know how many episodes that is.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know, man. It's like and Chris Maloney was an athlete. He's used to be, I think, used to play college football or something.
Yeah.
And I just think there's something about it might be like your 100th game, but you got to play it like at 100%, like every
Yeah.
time, as if it's the championship game. And that's just what it reminded me of when I saw him do that. I was like, God bless you, Maloney. Like, you could have phoned this in. And he's such a cool guy, He'd be like, hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
That's
He's
a
so
pretty
funny,
good impersonation.
too.
Yeah.
And all his other stuff,
He's
he's
the
so
coolest.
funny.
And likewise with Mariska, I remember that it was actually that same evening, like Mariska was like actually just warming up her body. She was like stretching. She was like stretching up against the wall, and I was like, "Yeah, this is why I love doing this. Like, you guys are my idols. Like, I love that you are being such great examples of how to be professional and respect your craft and like the job." And so that's just a really small example of one of the reasons I loved it. Let alone like getting to like travel to different parts of the city to shoot different scenes, being on the beach or being in like some backyard in Harlem or something like that, or getting to meet amazing guest stars like John Stamos or anything.
Oh,
That's
cool.
like the coolest.
Yeah. We were talking about, Logan and I were talking about that the other night, that I don't think, coming from the original Law and Order through SVU and all of the different incarnations, the amount of people that have been on that show, and have made guest appearances on that show is just remarkable when you look back and go, I had no idea such and such was on this show or that. Yeah, so I get that. I totally like being on there and being able to, meet the people that you were able to meet. And I guess perfect practice to set up for what has to be. I mean, now you were involved in, two of the single largest worlds of, current pop culture right now with the Walking Dead universe and the Marvel universe. I mean, the epic in both natures. So, it had to be good practice coming from Law and Order to step up into that, I would assume.
Yeah, 100%. When people talk about Law and Order as like a machine, it is, and that's one of the things that I think make it an excellent like training and acquaintance for like the fundamentals of shooting and shooting under pressure and like not having a lot of time and moving quickly and having to be super efficient. With something like The Walking Dead, there's obviously much more room for like kind of creative cinematic storytelling in the writing and the way it's shot and stuff. So it's almost like LNO, SVU, it helps you get your fundamentals down.
Right.
Yeah.
Seem to be more grounded in Law and Order than you would be in Walking Dead, where you like you said, you have more freedom to be imaginative than you probably would in Law and Order.
I think so. The tone is dark in both, but
right.
But kind of just like we were saying before, it's like a procedural, so
right.
we can probably guess what kinds of scenes are going to be covered. I don't know. I feel like with Walking Dead and even Marvel, they try to surprise you with where these characters are going. I feel like the writers don't even know until they write it.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I have a question for that coming up for your Marvel stuff. But
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I went to my first Walker Stalker Con last year, and
Oh, great.
Oh my God! I mean, everything you hear about this fan base, it's true. I was just like I saw more people in that convention center area than the entire Gulf Coast region. It was insane. These people and how they were and how dedicated they were to this show and to these actors.
Yeah.
And so. And like I said, I've been a fan from the beginning. And Cal, pretty significant on the hilltop, man. He's got a lot of stuff going with Maggie, and we all know Maggie's kind of guy. You're coming back, right?
We'll have to see.
I feel like Maggie needs you, bro. She's coming into a leadership spot, kind of a thing,
That's right, man. Actually, I just posted on my Instagram one of the trailers for season 9 by AMC. It has Maggie and I in one of the shots.
Yeah.
So I guess officially I can tell you, I'll be there.
There you go. You heard it right here
Officially.
first, people. You heard it right here first. Cal is coming back.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's been great. It's been great. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you hear all the time, it's a family. Once you're a part of that family, you're always kind of there. And but yeah, just from a fan point of view, I thought your performance as Cal and your interaction with Maggie and what goes down on the hilltop, it's significant to the storyline. I don't think people really realize the significance that your character has with what happened with Maggie's transition to where she is now. I think Cal played a huge part in that. And so I was excited to kind of see that whole thing play out.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, because it's like Gregory was running the Hilltop. I suppose when Maggie arrived,
Right.
and I'm being a member of the Hilltop and protecting the gates, and I feel like assisting Gregory on a closer personal level. But no one really likes the guy because he's like such a greasy little swindler.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, right. And I feel like you're right. Like we see. I think one of the marks of a great leader is integrity, and I feel like Maggie's got that in spades. And
Right.
so it's not right. It's like we all have our moral compass, and we want to follow someone that reflects our values. So I think that becomes and she steps up into that quite naturally when these crises occur throughout seasons 7 and 8. And so I think I think it's been obviously like resistance from Gregory, but overall maybe like a more natural, healthier transition for everyone.
Right. And now y'all are just like one big community. So yeah, kind of moving forward with the fall of Negan. You guys are kind of spoiler. That you guys are all kind of like one community now. So and some stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be. I'm glad you're coming back. I'm glad you officially announced that. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out this coming season. Obviously.
Thanks. Yeah, me too. I can't wait for you to see it.
Awesome. Okay, so Marvel. I'm a huge,
Marvel.
yeah, dude. Like you have no idea. Comic book fan since birth.
Yeah.
And so in this day and age, seeing it all come to life the way that it has, and what Marvel has been able to do with their cinematic universe, both in television and film, is just unreal to me. And so to be a part of that, wow! I mean, it's got to be something epic, right? I mean,
Yeah, it is. It's an honor, and it's yeah, you're right. It really is a universe though. It's like
it really is.
Yeah. Like the Avengers are on their planet, and I guess the Defenders are on a different planet. They're jumping back and forth, but yeah, no, man. I mean, I'm like watching. I like rewatch clips from Infinity Wars like every other day.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you because
Oh,
I mean
geez.
it's a pretty well known fact that the people at Marvel have this stuff planned out, for like however long, and they don't seem to do anything without it being intentional or having a reason behind it. So my question is, they made a point to say your full name, Samuel Chung. And for anybody that's like geeks like we are, and huge comic book fans, we know the significance of saying your last name and where that potentially is going. And so, while you probably can't tell me anything I want to know, because for fear of your, Marvel killing you, I feel like they don't reveal your last name unless you're coming back, and as a certain blind spot character, if you will. Can you disclose that one on the show?
Blink
for us,
twice
too?
if yes.
There's it's weird, like a tinted window black sedan just pulled up next to my car.
I thought so.
Actually, I should say it's like a hot red with tinted windows.
Oh,
Oh,
Just
all
a
right.
big-
that's
with an
right.
M on the license plate. No, I didn't realize that Sam was Samuel Chung until our showrunner Raven told me it was like an Easter egg. Yeah, and I don't know if we ever got to see it in the Iron Fist episode, but like on my desk there is like the plaque that says Sam Chung. I took a pic with Jess and Christine, who plays Mrs. Yang. The three of us with my plaque. I just threw it up on Instagram, but that was when we were shooting there at the community center. No, you bring up great questions that everyone has been like super interested and passionate about, and like I'm with you, man. Like I would be very excited to see Blind Spot developed in further incarnations of Iron Fist or what have you. I think he's an extremely topical character.
He is.
And a very needed character for the Asian American community. but also just for immigrants in general, because as you know, you probably know his backstory. He's an illegal immigrant from China, and
Right.
you know, so resourceful and self-taught, teaching himself kind of engineering and mechanics while he's being a janitor at Columbia to make this super suit
Yep.
that he uses to fight for justice, which I think is incredible. But I think also the fact that he's Asian American, right, is
Right.
also very. It's very. We need a role model like that.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I was talking to, it's clearly time, right? I mean,
It
my friends and I
absolutely.
call it, right? We call it Asian August because we had Crazy Rich Asians, we had Searching with John Cho, we had To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and maybe even and like a bunch of like greenlit TV series featuring Asian American stories. Alan Yang is filming Tiger Tail in New York right now. So, and I've read tons of industry articles about how not only are they looking for diversity, but they're specifically looking for Asian-specific stories. And so that's just, and like the fact that Crazy Rich Asians killed it and is now the biggest selling rom-com in 10 years?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just came out. Yeah, I mean, there's more than just an appetite. It's more like, I mean, I feel like growing up in America in the 80s and 90s that, I feel kind of, I was starved for representation, but I didn't even know it until I saw
Right.
what it could be like. I've just heard from a lot of my friends about how they're watching Crazy Rich Asians in the theater and like tears are streaming down their face
Right.
because they haven't seen something like that before.
Right.
And that, that makes me think of like pictures from when it was announced in 2008 that Obama won the presidency, and there were like a picture of an African American woman with like tears streaming down her face, and I was
Right.
like, to see someone who looks like you, who like understands your struggles, who like represents the things that you've been going through, like realized with like a complex story with dignity, like not just in like kind of the superhero, super fighter, like vigilante persona aspect, but also to just have them described as people with like real life, personal like conflicts and
Right, absolutely.
thoughts.
Chrissy
Right?
Teigen.
It's not so simple, but it humanizes them. Sorry, please go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna say Chrissy Teigen had a very similar response too. I saw that she posted on Twitter that she had a very emotional response seeing it too, and hearing words that like Thai words said on screen that she recognized from her own culture and upbringing, and it was just very moving for her to share that with her husband, of course, and their children. You know, to be able to share that
Right.
culture with them.
Yes, right, yeah. So
Well, I feel like Marvel has done a good job. I mean, even with the character of Sam, I felt like they did make him very human. You know, his interaction with Colleen and his concern for her and doing right and wrong and like before, if they do or don't, you know, bring him to the eventual blind spot. They very much made him a compassionate human being that you could attach to and feel with before we get him to the other state that we know he becomes. So I feel like they've done a really good job both in the television and the film side with the diversity and with trying to expand upon those type things in the universe. And I'm just going to say, I'm not Yale educated, but sounded like, you know, James, you had done a whole lot of research on Blind Spot. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know,
well, I couldn't talk about him with you if I didn't know that.
Like,
No,
think of the potential there, James. I'm just gonna say, and you know, to let Marvel know I'm gonna get on. Claire is no longer there. Think about the crossover. You know, he's a Daredevil guy. You could be
Yeah.
jumping from show to show.
yeah,
I'm
he's
just
Daredevil's
saying.
Daredevil's
I mean,
protege.
can we broadcast this via?
I'm sending a link to the guys at
Yeah.
Netflix and Marvel as we speak, bro. It's gonna be. We'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. wiring 10%. Here count.
Hey.
You guys heard that. We're now his agent. No.
Yeah.
Seriously though, I do think that character, and I like with the same thing that they did with Typhoid Mary, and I like the idea of these characters that you say no, but they're in this one, or in the idea of introducing them somewhere else, and the potential of the crossover interaction between the shows. I love that, and I think your character is exactly that, and has huge potential on both sides. So it'll be interesting to see, and fingers crossed that you're not telling us something, and it does work out, because I'm excited to see where they take your character and more interaction that you have with Colleen and where that goes. I thought that was an interesting little relationship there.
Thanks, man. Same here. I love our first scene where I think you first meet me, where we're like setting up for that poker night.
Yeah.
I love that scene. I just feel like it has so many levels, even though we're talking about kind of compelling, urgent plot points. I just feel like you can feel the sense of ease and rapport and like teasing and familiarity that we have with each other. I just feel like, a
mutual admiration from the get-go. And
right?
I think that was important to set up or establish at the very beginning, because Danny's out of the picture, bro. Danny. I'm just saying, it's Sam's turn. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. No, I'm saying, gotta just do my thing.
Like to test out that power fist. I know the iron fist.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. So what's next? We know FBI, right? You're going to be coming up. FBI, Dick Wolf's new one, FBI.
Yeah. Playing Ian Lim. Originally Lance, more recently Lim. I guess as they realized, hey, this guy's Asian, maybe we should do something about that. But I would have been fine with Lance as well. That's an amazing experience as well, just to kind of be part of the Dick Wolf family again, and to work with these amazing actors. Dick isn't messing around.
No,
he's bringing in Mitzi
seriously
Peregrine.
not.
He's bringing in Zico Zaki. He's bringing in Jubal Valentine, played by Jeremy Sisto. Come on, people.
Right. What I like about Dick Wolf, and it kind of goes back to The Walking Dead and Marvel too, he's very loyal to his people and people that he's worked with in the past, and very known for bringing them back to other projects and sticking with them in different incarnations, which I love that. I think if you find a good group of people and you know what you're getting, it's always good to go there.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
So, well, congratulations on, and it's a recurring role, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh snap!
Nice.
So that's gonna be good. That's exciting.
It'll be worth watching then, as long as you're gonna be on there more than once.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I sure do.
A little taste of
appreciate that.
you,
You have no for the entire rest of the week. We're all going to be talking like that. It's gonna.
We were thinking of doing a whole interview like that.
Yeah.
but-
Right.
Pinky's out.
Hey, wait! He actually said that too.
Yeah, we all had the pinkies out. We were talking about the bulldog. You have no idea.
I'm going to do the Yale song that way. What is it?
That's right. Do you know the Yale song?
It's like Bula Bula something.
That's exactly how they did it on Gilmore Girls. Wow. No.
Do you know Chaz?
That's right. Chaz. So you're a dual coaster, right? You're bouncing back and forth between New York and LA?
Yeah, I've been doing that for a good while. The past 3 or 4 years, I've been pretty local to New York. But funny you bring that up, because I'm this fall I'll be kind of splitting my time more equally between LA and New York. I just want to spread the James Chen love to LA.
Spread the love.
There you go.
James Chen love. I love it. That's a T-shirt.
It is.
Yeah, baby.
But somehow we've got to figure out how to put that on a T-shirt with that accent. With
The Yale
Maybe
accent.
just have a pinky at the end of it up in the air or something. That'd be
All right, we got some merch ideas.
I love that.
We'll collaborate,
See,
Jayla.
I told
Yes,
you, man.
of
We're
course.
all over it. Send us 20%. We're gonna do merchandise. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll put a link to that on my website. You
That's
pay
right.
with PayPal or Apple Pay.
That's right.
To answer your question, I also did some work on The Last OG with Tracy Morgan.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
And Alan
That's
Maldonado,
crazy.
who was a series reg and a writer on that show.
Yeah.
I also did an episode on the last season of Broad City.
Oh,
Alana Glazer and Abby Jacobson. You can't see me, but I'm like bowing to them right now.
oh my gosh! I don't blame you. They're incredible. I love Broad City.
Incredible. Just you guys. I mean, they didn't shut down traffic, but we were in Flatiron in Manhattan at like 26th and Broadway. It was like massive intersection. Just filming the whole day there. It's crazy. Like
Wow.
Rachel Dratch is there. I don't even think people knew that she was there because she was in kind of like a costume surrounded by a bunch of paraphernalia. It was like
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And always
It was
surrounded
sur-
by paraphernalia. No.
It's
It
hardly
was
ever
surreal.
recognizable.
Yeah.
Those guys are so funny, and just like their energy is just so exceptional. You know, they're so generous with their letting you play. You know, like they wrote it, but they're like, yeah, like, try it like this or do that or whatever you want to do. Like, I don't care.
Right.
You know,
I love them and their story, how they got started, how they're basically just two friends that just kind of hit it off and started filming some stuff and got noticed. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
fangirlness went up like 25%, I think, just from that statement.
Just on that.
Oh man. Okay. Oh jeez.
I love your enthusiasm. And you can clearly tell that you're appreciative of all the opportunities. And I love the fact that while you're making a living as an actor and you're getting to do all this amazing stuff and meet all these, you're still fanboying out over things and just being a normal guy. You know, I love that. I love that you can appreciate every opportunity that you've been given and still just ride it and be like, hey, I'm as awestruck as you guys are. And like, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Well, you
Cool,
much
thanks. Yeah, I actually came up. I graduated Yale like 10 years ago, and it's been a journey. I gotta say, like one thing I definitely have. I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I suppose I was taught, or I don't know, raised in a culture of Thanksgiving, perhaps, but
Yeah.
also, kind of in a non-religious way, just kind of trying to find my own path in life through the chaos that is being an actor. Just kind of growing spiritually and personally, and understanding or discovering or reading about, just like gratitude and energy and how it's a cycle. And you gotta give to appreciate, and it's just kind of like we're always talking about before. Like, it's just awesome to work with people that you like and have a good creative and professional rapport with.
Absolutely.
So that's like, right? Yeah, it's like, I mean, even you guys at this podcast, I could tell that you guys are gelling as a group, and you've got a great rapport coming through the airwaves here. And those things, for anything creative, I just feel like that's the foundation, right? Like,
Absolutely.
making
1,000%
something
agree.
This is
out of that, yeah.
This is Jason. I just had one thing. Since you brought up he brought up how you still kind of geek out on some of the stuff. Were you a comic book fan before you started working on Iron Fist?
I was not the biggest comic book fan. I mean, I love drawing, and I would buy like select pieces that I thought were cool. Like I loved Spider-Man.
Right.
Because I did martial arts. I mean, I do martial arts now too. Oh, BT dubs, like, should Marvel gods willing, and depending on how successful you guys are at sending in like these amazing, like, I expect like no less than 10 gift baskets to the people at Marvel from you guys
Absolutely.
on my behalf. But sorry, I got lost in my own tangent.
I think somehow you were talking about you would be able to do all your own martial arts. Is that
Yeah, right.
Oh, right. The reason I was
There it is.
Spider-Man is because in high school I did wushu. Like I do MMA now, but back then I did wushu, it's more like an acrobatic type of a thing. And I grew up loving just like old school kung fu movies,
Right.
Like where their voices are dubbed over. And so what I loved about Spider-Man is I think one of the same things I loved about martial arts, like when he's acrobating through the air, like the
Right.
way you have to kind of counterbalance your body,
Right.
like kind of building parkouring like that. It's like, I don't know, sculpturally I just think that looks super cool. So when I was in ninth grade, it was a tradition at my school. In ninth grade, your art project is to paint a mural on the wall, and I made like a 8-foot tall mural of Spider-Man.
Oh, that's
Cool.
epic, bro.
Yeah, and as far as other comic books go, like I loved Wolverine, and I would buy.
Hell
Uh-oh.
yeah, there you
There
go.
you go.
Now my fan
Right?
just went up 25%.
Oh man, so it's like 25% to each individual
That's
there.
oh yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, I like Daredevil, so that's where Blind Spot had to
Right.
do it. So
um,
it's the fact that you're on the show kind of jumped mine up a little bit.
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw something random in here, just totally out of the blue. But I saw this, and because Logan did an amazing job, just coming up with some stuff here, and I gotta ask, how do you say "Crazy Ant" films in Mandarin?
oh wow.
He's like, oh damn it!
Yeah,
Pop quiz.
It says you can speak Mandarin, James. No.
it's for merchandising purposes.
I love it.
He's like, can you have me back on the show, and I'll be prepared.
Okay, we'll settle for
All right.
Yale.
Ready?
All right, we're ready.
疯狂蚂蚁. Literally crazy ant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
One more
Logan, you writing
time.
this down?
Yeah.
Feng Feng Mai.
Yeah, you'll have to email us that so we can put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, merchandising.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. We're going international, people. Chinese markets. 1.4 billion people.
That's
Oh
right.
my
You
gosh.
got it, man.
That's
You
awesome.
He's got the business mind. That's that Yale coming through.
I'm telling you, man. That's awesome.
Oh man, it's like sink or swim. I feel in this biz, right?
Oh,
Exactly.
Always, man.
So we'll put it on a life jacket.
That's brilliant.
Right. So we always like to finish up with because we do have a lot of people who listen to our show that are trying to break into the industry and looking for guidance and stuff. So we always kind of try to follow up with what advice would you give people trying to break into the industry? What would you say are some things they need to avoid or some things that they need to do to try to get in?
Man, like a lot. So many things to share. Well, I mean, I guess if you're in a study, take classes, continue to get better. I think depending on any level, you can start, even if you're just like watching TV or movies, you can kind of begin to watch them from a critical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Not judgmental, but like analytical, right?
Right.
Like who do you I guess if you're going for acting, you could like not only like pick or start maybe, I don't know, keeping in mind who your favorite actors are, but also trying to get really specific about why.
Right.
And like one thing I started to do recently is like took some of my favorite actors and watched their body of work kind of in sequence, right? So you can kind of, when you do that, you can kind of get a impression of how their craft and their skill is evolving and
Right.
kind of what their range is, you know, and how they handle different situations written in a script. But I would definitely say take classes. Try to do it as much as possible. They say that reading about how to do something, is the least efficient way of becoming better at it. And on the other end of the spectrum, doing it is like the most impactful way to learn something.
It makes sense.
It does. Absolutely.
Right. And like in between, there's stuff like watching someone do it and blah, blah, blah. But do that. So yeah, I would try to get the best training that you can. If you're in a smaller regional area, obviously, take as many of the great classes that you can, but maybe if you can afford to take like a shortened a trip to like Los Angeles, LA, or Los Angeles or New York to see, I guess New York, to see some great theater and to study with some excellent teachers, that'd be highly recommended.
Yeah, we just did that. It's so funny that you bring it because we're back and forth between LA and New York as well, and we just literally just came back from New York after seeing a show. So I love that you bring that up. Yep.
Oh, cool. Did you guys all go together?
Logan, myself, and Jason went on this particular trip. Yeah, and but we take some crazy road trips, bro.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
That's a road trip?
Oh yeah,
it's
it
a
was
road
a road
trip.
trip, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
gassed up the wagon and
What,
went out there.
Well, two questions. One, what did you see? And two, what do you do in the car?
Wait, he's turned the tables on us. We went and actually saw City of Light, musical reading of the musical, at Feinstein's Below 54, which was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, dude,
That's
it was,
great.
yeah, the venue alone was worth the trip, and it was amazing. But the show was amazing, and Autumn Reeser made her directorial debut, so we were kind of able to see a directorial debut of this amazing cast, and so that was really cool. But yeah, it was an epic night, man. It was really entertaining. But much like you said, to go watch people do their art and do their craft, and to see the different
Right.
interpretations and stuff, and in such a venue like that, was very intimate
Right.
and very close up. So it was quite the experience.
Yeah.
And what did we talk about? Oh wow!
Oh no! What did they do in the car?
What
They
did we do in
prayed
the
about
car?
the
Yeah.
person driving. Hopefully, they didn't get an accident or
Yeah,
get a ticket.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have Apple Music, so that's
That's-
that's a
It's lot of
goal.
music, a lot of working.
Yeah.
while we're,
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes playing games.
Yeah.
on the
After
phone.
I'm done driving, I just sleep to try to make
and
make the time go
some
faster.
sleeping.
And some sleep.
Some
I'm
sleeping.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, honestly though, I mean, I think and first of all, thank you for what you had said earlier about the us as a group and the gelling of the group and how we seem to come across the airwaves and everything. I think the reason, a lot of people always ask us, Jesus, why don't you just take a plane? And it's when we
I asked that a lot too.
Our own guy asks us that all the time.
I didn't ask. It's money.
I think a lot of the bonding that we do on these trips and a lot of the conversations and a lot of the work that we're able to do and getting to know each other even on levels that we haven't done yet, it's important. That kind of a bonding and that kind of if you're in a project together or you're in a journey together and I think that's a lot of the reason that, and we're able to do that on these trips.
Right.
So it's always entertaining, man. We get to meet a lot of people along the way and do different things. So it's kind of entertaining. And I
also-
really appreciate that that's noticed, that it kind of shows in what we do. So
Also,
thank
on
you
a-
for that.
Also, on a plane, we can't just play Apple tunes for everybody or
Yeah.
Apple Music for everybody.
That's
and-
And if we can survive,
Karaoke.
18 hours in a car without killing each other, then, we can survive anything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or
That's-
shitting
that's
ourselves.
awesome.
Oh.
That's awesome. If you don't mind me asking, who do you remember who played Charlie Chaplin in that show?
Official statement.
Who played Charlie Chaplin in what?
Was it your City of Lights musical? Was that about Charlie Chaplin?
It was
No.
not. It's about
Oh.
a woman that goes to Paris that is supposed to be her anniversary and engagement type thing. And the fiance can't go, and so she ends up going over there and realizes she doesn't want to be with him anyway, and she's got this whole kind of thing to learn about living life on her own and doing this kind of stuff. It's a very romantic,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. She meets a new
Finding
love over there.
herself.
Yeah, about finding yourself in your journey of self-exploration.
Oh,
This commercial has been brought to you by.
brought to you by City of Lights.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so it's excellent. But yeah, I love the fact that you bring that up. So, and who knows, man? Maybe when we're doing these little cross countries, we'll run into you. you
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
Oh yeah, man. Well, you don't take a plane though.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe we will for this next one. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, seriously, let me know when you're in New York or LA. We should connect.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
man. That would be a fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
this has been
Go read
like
some-
an outstanding interview, man. You're
Yeah.
hilarious and just a great conversationalist, man.
And I have one
Oh.
favor. If you ever run into Abby or Alana again, please tell them that they have big fans down in Mississippi. They may not think that because those shows all about New York, but they do. So please tell them for me they've got fans down here.
I will. I shall.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, dude. Open invite, man. We would
Seriously.
love to have you back on anytime you want to come on here, and we'll get busy on ordering those gift baskets.
Yeah.
Yes. How about tomorrow? Are you busy tomorrow?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get right on that.
On the way.
Honestly, though, great conversation, man. And anytime you have anything you want to promote, or if you just want to come on and shoot the shit with us, man, we would be more than happy to have you
Hell
come
yeah.
back anytime.
Oh my god, thank you guys so much. That means a lot. No, this has been so fun. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
You're awesome too, James.
And look, man, I'll holler at you and truthfully let you know the next time we're going to be out on either one of the coasts, man, and we'll see what we can do because we'd love to interview you again, maybe live. That'd be awesome.
Oh, snap. Great. Ask me all sorts of things in Mandarin.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, you have the T-shirts ready. We'll get the gift baskets ready. It's going to be great.
Okay. I'll be ready to wipe the sweat off my brow.
All right, man. Well, listen, take care. And again, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. And just best of luck with everything going forward. And we'll have you back on soon, man.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Take care. Best.
All right.
Yeah.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Wow.
What a
Was
cool
not
dude.
expecting that.
No,
That's
man.
awesome.
He's quite the conversationalist.
He really
Yeah.
is.
It's like, although I mean, I like guests who just talk.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
and
Just keep it going.
Yeah, and
I love his laugh.
right.
He's got the best laugh.
But is he not hilarious that we were all sitting around here and then he did it himself? You
Yeah.
don't have to have the pinky out and talk
like-
with the accent.
Yeah.
Now I'm really bummed we didn't do the whole interview that way.
Right.
I don't think we could have done it.
No, I don't think I could have
cracking
like
up every
kept
2
going.
seconds.
But what a skilled guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
James.
honestly.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
like starting so strong in theater and then making the transformation into film and television and now sticking with preferred film, even though basically the whole first half hour we were talking about theater.
right.
Yeah.
So it was just awesome, the two different loves that he shares for just the entertainment industry in general.
And I'm glad that his family is so supportive now. I know that, I think a lot of parents and family members worry because there's this whole stigma and idea that you it's so hard to be successful as an
Yeah.
actor, which I know it's not easy and it is a very difficult industry, but obviously from all the people that we've talked to, no matter what area of film or industry or whatever you're in, you can be successful, and that what success means does not have to be like Brad Pitt level. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can be happy and successful and not starving, like he
Yeah,
said,
exactly.
without having to just teach it or whatever. And so it's really cool that
And- I think that's a great point because I think the numbers are scary. I want to say it's less than 1% of all the registered people in SAG actually make a living in the craft. And
Oh,
I
wow.
think the people that do are exactly what you just said. The people that understand, if you're coming out there to be Brad Pitt, you're probably not going to make it,
probably
but
not
you
gonna make
can enjoy what you do, make a living
Exactly.
loving what you do, and survive if you're willing to understand that you're not going to be this,
Exactly.
but you can be this.
Many people just do like book some commercials and they live off that.
Right.
that's
I mean,
true. I mean, look at the Flow lady from Progressive.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
super rich from
That's
that.
well,
Yeah.
like Ed Asner said, he went out there and was
Yeah.
doing commercial work and looking through the want ads and like
Exactly.
I
You don't have
mean,
to have you could probably just get by doing acting and living off your
Residuals.
your residuals from commercials and not even have to
Exactly.
get a
yeah.
job. So
One thing is certain though, when you go out there, you got to park cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody
all
starts as a
starts
chauffeur.
there.
Yeah, it all starts there. Almost everybody we've talked to has said they were parking cars.
Yeah.
We got a guest coming up that same thing, doing research on them, parking cars or moving furniture. Seems to be the trend.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
you gotta
busing
go out there and park
tables.
cars.
Or busing tables.
That was James's.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Well, just man, James,
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming on the
thank you
show.
so
Yeah,
much.
that was
Great
fun.
interview. All right, now it's time for the top 5 segment. It is time. We got top 5 comedians today.
Yeah,
oh,
y'all.
man, this one was hard.
Man, really hard.
It was hard for Little Cam because she
was.
couldn't find anybody.
Oh.
That's
That's
true.
because I do mine day of. Like,
It's true.
Calling her
All right,
out.
so we normally go ladies first,
It's
right?
It's true. Tavia's not here, so let's.
All right,
let's let-
yep. We got Tavia's picks though. She did send in. And we have got, I don't know if she put these in any order, so I'm just going to read them. Angela Johnson,
Angela Johnson.
Patton Oswalt,
Oh, yeah.
Dave Chappelle,
Ooh,
Oh,
Richard Pryor,
yeah.
and Kevin Hart.
yeah.
That's
There you go.
Tavia's top 5.
Those are epic.
Those are pretty epic choices.
about Kevin
Yeah.
Hart.
Definitely.
Pretty epic choices.
Other female?
Other
other
female?
female?
Other female.
You
Oh,
got this.
man.
Yeah, since you already called me out for doing this day of, thanks for that.
Lil
welcome.
Cam, what you got?
I helped you.
He did help me.
Yeah.
He had to remind me of the people I know, so thanks for
I
that.
just started naming them.
People I know.
What does he had to remind me of the people
I was
that
just,
I know.
I was just
Yeah,
naming
like-
people that I thought she
Like,
would know,
oh,
so she
yeah.
could
was
pick
one of
someone.
them George Carlin?
There you go.
No,
No.
it wasn't.
I think so.
No,
right.
too,
All
too
right.
young.
Let's see who you got.
No, I knew some of his stuff.
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, thanks.
So who you
Especially
got?
What
after
do
we
you
had
got?
like a whole podcast that we were talking
Yeah,
about.
about him. Yeah.
All right, so mine are not in order. Mine are never in order. Gabriel Iglesias.
Fluffy.
Fluffy. Yeah, Kevin Hart, Robin Williams, Daniel Tosh, and Bill Murray.
Tosh.0 and
Yeah.
Robin
Good list.
Williams.
Yeah.
Why do we always have the same?
oh, we're all gonna have Robin
I'm sorry.
Williams.
Like,
We're all
like,
gonna
more
have,
time.
yeah, because we're related.
Mine, yeah, I have some on here that were on your list and Tavia's list. I have
Okay.
Bill Murray, Dave Chappelle, Bernie Mac, Richard Pryor, and Gabriel Iglesias.
There you go.
Fluffy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
All right.
Well, I mean, most of the ones I picked were basically based on stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, descending from 5, I would say Eddie Murphy when he was doing stand-up
Yeah.
was one of my
Oh,
favorites.
you're talking about Raw and
Delirious.
Yeah,
Delirious.
I mean,
Delirious,
I would love to see him do stand-up again one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Sorry, Louis C.K.'s on my list.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his
Yeah.
stand-up
That's
comedy.
good. I like his
A lot of
comedy.
people like this shit.
Three would be a tie between two people. Patton Oswalt's up there,
Mm-hmm.
but I liken him to almost like Patrice O'Neill too, and
Ooh, wow.
he's one of my favorites. Dave Chappelle, obviously for his the Chappelle Show and his stand up work.
Yeah,
And
brilliant.
Number one's always just gonna be a dead heat. It's Carlin and Pryor.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, so okay, mine. Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen
Nice.
DeGeneres.
I think Ellen DeGeneres is funny as shit when she's doing stand up or her show. I
Yeah.
think she's fantastic. Kevin Hart, obviously. Eddie Murphy, George Carlin, and of course, Robin Williams. I mean, for me,
Hell
Robin
yeah.
Williams is the single best stand up comedian ever. The way that man could improv
Yeah.
and just go freaking crazy.
Well, for
like,
me,
just,
he kind of. I
immediately.
mean, I loved his body of work as an actor about as much as I loved his stand up.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, he was brilliant
was
all the way
awesome.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honorable mention, Stephen Wright.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey, would you
God.
give me a moment over here?
Stephen
Sorry, because I really just
Yeah.
like the way Stephen
I
Wright
didn't know how to
would
dog.
deliver his
Stephen.
jokes.
I had a dog and named him Stay.
Yeah.
No, I had
Come
a
here,
dog.
Stay.
His name was Spot. I put some spot remover. Now he's
That's-
gone.
No, I put spot. No, it's like I rubbed spot remover over my dog, and now he's gone.
Right.
I bought a camera the other day. So advanced. You don't even need it.
Don't even need it. Sam, man, what you got?
What you got, Sally?
So I have an honorable mention because I really like his comedy, but he's not at the top. Would be Brian Posehn,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
metal comedian. Dennis Leary,
Oh yeah.
Jim
Dennis.
Gaffigan,
Oof.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Wright,
Yep.
Yeah.
George Carlin, Robin Williams.
Yes. See? All good. All good.
My favorite
Outstanding.
Stephen Wright joke is he says like I went into my house and everything was stolen and replaced with an exact replica. I
Yeah.
looked at my roommate and said, "Can you believe this? They replaced everything with an exact replica." My roommate says, "Do I know you?"
Do I know
I bought a map of the United States. It's actual size.
you? It's actual size.
Someone
Gonna
said
get a
where I live,
tattoo
I
over-
said B5.
I'm gonna get a tattoo over my whole body of me, but taller.
Oh my goodness. All right. Is it time for the word of the day? Sound man, what you got for us?
This word actually has two pronunciations, I guess.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
just pick the one that you feel
Well,
most
there's
comfortable with.
symbiote or symbiote.
Okay.
Symbiote.
I'm loving it. How relevant is that word for
Yeah.
today?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Venom.
that movie came out. last
That's
week.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
An organism in a symbiotic relationship in case in which a distinction is made between two interactive organisms. The symbiote is the smaller of the two and is always beneficial in a relationship, while the larger organism is the host and may or may not derive a benefit.
Boom.
So, like
You
when
see-
Spider-Man wore it, he was more powerful.
Yeah.
That is correct. That is
Right.
correct. And did you guys see little Cam? She was like, because as she says, that's right. The little one is in real power. The bigger one is just the host. All right. That's she's like, woo! I'm just
I
saying.
feel like you misinterpret my head nods. but-
Really? Because
Yeah,
when he said the smaller one is, you were like,
She was like, "That's
Okay.
right."
Lil Cam.
I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm sitting behind the soundboard with no idea.
All
Oh
right.
my goodness.
Well done, Chris. Well
All
done.
right. Now I think it's time for some movies. What is it time for? Yeah, it is. All right, we got some good stuff coming out this week. Bad Times at the El Royale with what's his face?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris
That looks
Hemsworth.
Thor.
Thor. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that one. That one looks pretty creative. Pretty artistic.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and can I just tell you, if I have to sit next to any more women in the theater when that trailer comes on and hear
Yeah.
them swoon when he does that little
When
dance,
he does that
move thing,
dance.
I'm like, calm down, ladies. You're not seeing his other
Yeah,
God
I
of
know,
Thunder,
just
okay?
chill.
Just like chill, all right?
Relax.
He's about to drop another hammer. I mean,
Oh
they
my
get
gosh.
seriously though. It's like, I mean, this one lady next to
He
me at
just
one time.
referred to
Dustin.
Chris Hemsworth's
Dustin.
hammer.
Dustin.
Yes,
Dustin.
yes.
You haven't tried using Chris Hemsworth.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
you play your lady, the Crims Hemsworth, and then she can imagine you as Crims Hemsworth, and then it could be give really awesome.
But
night.
but my lady isn't that weird woman sitting next to me in the theater though. Like that
It could
lady's
be.
creepy.
It could
Yeah,
be.
she wants to see Chris Hemsworth's hammer. Apparently,
does.
She wants to see the hammer.
She wants him to drop the hammer.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she's like, "Hey, baby, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. I can
wants
pick
him
it
to
up."
bring the thunder.
Oh my goodness. So anyway,
You think he calls it Mjolnir?
Oh,
Or like,
God.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Are
Do you think he
worthy
did that
enough to
before he
pick
got the
it up?
roll of thorn?
You
Anyway.
weakling. Okay, anyway. First Man is also coming out. Claire Foy,
Yes.
Ryan Gosling. I'm really excited about this
Right.
one.
Team Claire.
Team Claire, Queen.
Queen.
And also Goosebumps, Haunted House. Of course, I mean, Halloween time's coming around, so, they got to throw one out
So
there.
Jack Black's in two R.L. Stein-like movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And coming back, he's like, I haven't been on the scene for a while. Here I am.
But he's got a star now.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, he's trying
he
to
was
make
pretty
a-
excited about
He
that.
was pretty pumped.
Did you see that shit? He was
Yeah.
like jumping all around. I'm like,
I mean, because he knows, and he's a very. I mean, his little,
awesome.
his thank you speech was very appreciative. Like, I can't believe me.
Yeah.
And then he kind of talks about where he came from and how
Yeah.
he made his way up. I got a star, and
Yeah.
it's like I love people like that. That are,
Tenacious
you know,
D.
Hell
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Actually, him and JB have a new animation thing
Yeah.
going on
Yeah, really?
YouTube.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I
And
don't.
KG
It's not
and JB.
high quality or anything like
Yeah,
that,
of
but
course.
it's pretty funny.
That's funny. Let's
Fan of
check
their
that
stuff.
out.
You can get stoned and watch it.
Get
Pretty good.
stoned and watch. I might have to do that.
I'm not advocating it. I'm saying.
Movies that are also out. A Simple Favor, which we reviewed on our Is It Worth It? Make sure to go check that out. Life Itself, A House with a Clock in Its Walls, Hellfest, Night School with Kevin Hart, Smallfoot, A Star Is Born, and Venom. All right, so number one, I'm still pulling for it. I think A Star Is Born will be number one because that's what I want, and what I want.
That's what I want.
Happens. And not really. At
I
least
mean,
not
fair,
with,
fair enough.
not with these box office predictions. They've been screwing me over. But anyway, I hope number one is A Star Is Born with around 25 to 30 million. See what happens. Number two is going to be Venom with around 30 million because it did really well last week. 3, First Man, Ryan Gosling, that new flick. 4, Goosebumps, Haunted House, and 5, Bad Times at the El Royale.
So wait, is that what you want, or is that what you think?
That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of thinks what he
Interesting.
wants, though.
Interesting. That's an interesting 5.
Yeah. Star is
Uh,
Born, 1.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
A
First-
Star Is
I
Born.
think First Man could take one.
Maybe. I mean, Team Claire.
It's going to be
The
interesting.
Queen is extremely popular.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of good
the
movies
Bad
out.
Times at the I don't know why.
El Royale.
I know.
Royale, yeah, I can't remember that. I was like that one has the potential to be high up too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It does.
Just
but
on star power. alone.
I gotta say though, I don't disagree with your number one pick.
Yeah.
I too want it to be, but I think it's gonna get extremely powerful word of mouth
Yeah.
audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I think after people have seen this, they're going just like we did and talking about it to everybody that they can talk about
Yeah.
it to. I think that's gonna drive a lot of people to
Honestly.
it. So I think
But
it
it-
does have a good shot at taking the number one spot.
But in a weird way, wouldn't I mean? If it was stayed pretty much low and people went, and didn't make as much as we all wanted to make or whatever, wouldn't it actually help it get more notoriety with the critics? It happens that way sometimes.
Look, what
You
you
don't
wanted
think?
to
I mean-
happen and what happened.
Two different things,
I
bro.
didn't say I wanted that to happen.
No, I get it though. I get what you're saying,
I
and let's
mean-
go back to the ridiculous popular movie
Well, I mean,
category.
if
I see what you're
if
saying.
it makes a lot of money, then
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
It could bump it from the critically acclaimed
Right.
aspect for
it
the
would probably
Oscar
help
chances.
it more
but
for critics. If it
Yeah.
just go see this.
Kinda
film.
stay below
That's
the
all
radar.
we're
Yeah,
saying. Go see the
seriously.
film.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
good movies out right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, a simple favor. Just
Yeah,
like
just go
there's-
see that one.
Yeah.
Brother fucker.
Brother fucker.
Okay.
What?
Brother
Fucker. If you want to know what we're talking about, check out our movie review
That's
show.
right.
Is it worth it?
By the way,
Available.
was there any better person to say the words "brother fucker" than Blake Lively?
Yeah.
Oh my
Just
God.
the way she delivers
Yeah,
it the first
just like,
time, she's like,
damn.
it's brilliant. It's
It's-
just brilliant.
It's really
Like,
good. It's
anyway.
really good. Now flipping to music, Billboard charter toppers shit. Hot 100.
Take two.
Take two. Hot 100 is Maroon 5 and Cardi B's song "Girl Like You." This is its third week. Will it last as long as Drake's? I don't think so, because that one's just really popular.
Yeah.
And on the Billboard Top 200 album is Lil Wayne's Carter 5. Took 7 years to make this one, so I'm just glad it's finally out. Honorable mention is Logic and Kevin Gates' album also came out the same week as Lil Wayne's album, and they are both within the top 5. So just a great time for music.
And speaking of, let's throw it out there. A Star Is Born.
Yeah,
A
that
Star
should be
Is Born.
next week's number one.
Yeah, the duet. I think it's Shallows.
Yeah.
It debuted it. I think it was number 28 on the
Yeah.
top 100. So like just shot straight up in
Yeah.
its first week.
Yeah.
Will no doubt I think be number one. And the album also.
Yeah.
It's projected to be number one next week.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I forget how many for her. It's a ton for her. But it's Bradley Cooper's first.
Yeah,
He's about to
seriously.
get his number one album and a
Yeah.
number one single.
He's
for
got
the
his
first
own
time.
page on Apple Music now.
Yeah,
Like-
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
like this generation's Clint. I'm just saying. All right,
You haven't
will-
made
he
that
will-
comparison yet
I
on,
ha- he
the,
will
on this
definitely
show.
be
I have not
nominated.
made that comparison. Okay, so let me do it. I think Bradley Cooper is this generation's Clint Eastwood.
Boom.
Mic
drop.
Actor, director, composer, writer, just a brilliant guy all the way around.
And after watching that film, I agree with you.
Yeah, and the Mule is going to be the torch pass.
Yeah.
the Mule. They're starring in it together. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
right.
that's the torch pass.
That
And it looked really
good.
interesting.
does
I
look
just saw
really-
the trailer for that. And I was
Yeah,
like,
it looks
"Ooh."
Like
fantastic.
shit.
I think
You know?
he's
Clint Eastwood as a
gonna
semi-bad
at
guy.
least get
Yeah. I wanna
nominated
see it.
for an Oscar for
Oh,
director.
yeah.
For
Oh, yeah,
director,
definitely.
especially for director.
If everybody doesn't get nominated for A Star Is Born, I'm going to be
Seriously.
pissed. It should
Seriously.
be best
Was
film.
the,
It should be
was-
best score,
was
best
the-
actor, best actress,
was the
best
Chris-
supporting actor.
was the Christopherson Streisand thing nominated for Oscars? I don't remember.
I believe it
I
was.
believe it was.
I believe it was. But everybody deserves it. Cinematographer, writer,
Yeah.
composer, original
Seriously.
score, actor, actress, supporting actor.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Great movie all around. Go see it. If we haven't said it enough in this show, go see A Star Is Born. You will love it.
And they will review it on the.
Yes,
on the-
and we reviewed it on Is It Worth It, which is available everywhere, like I've already said a lot
Like
of
I
times.
already said.
Go see it. Go watch our review show. You love it. You love us.
It's a great review show this week.
It is. It was pretty
it's a
fun.
one.
It
It's
is.
a fun one.
It is. Yeah, it was. But thank you guys for listening to the show this week. We really appreciate you. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit. Facebook, Crazy Ant Film Company. Twitter, Crazy Ant Films. Instagram, Crazy_Ant_Films. On YouTube, Crazy Ant Films. On Reddit, Crazy Ant Films. And this podcast, Inside the Crazy Ant Farm, is available on Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, and now Spotify, guys.
Spotify.
Yeah, so we're just getting known all around the world.
We are.
And you know who we're trying to let know who we are?
Wait. Before you say that, can I just give a shout out?
Yeah.
Because America's hottest podcast right now, America
Yes.
2.0.
Yes.
Be sure to check that out on all of those venues as well. And rumor has it we're going to have the creators behind that show. Coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're super stoked about that. And now, who are we trying to get?
Oprah!